Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello. It is I. I just remember. I said hello to you, and I just thought about something. Do you know how that is? How you could be sitting here at your chair in front of your streaming station, also workstation, chatting with the battle buddies, and then you say something which triggers a memory, and then you want to share that memory. Have you ever had that situation happen? Because I just did. It's a memory. Ooh, I should probably tell you right away so I don't forget. But I do want to say I'm Trooper SJP. And this is the Academic Foxhole. And it is Saturday, which means we are playing the Outer Worlds. And as Krellin noted, we've been playing the Outer Worlds for 19 days. I think that's what he said. I think he said, I think Krellin said that we started playing 20 or 19 days ago, is what I think he said. I think that's what he said. We started playing 20 or 19 days ago, or perhaps he said we've played 20 or 19 times. It's not true. It isn't true. But we're playing the Outer Worlds. There's two DLC, Peril and Gorgon and also Murder on Eridanos, and we are playing the Murder on Eridanos. We finished Peril and Gorgon, and once we finish our DLC, we just are going to pop into Endgame, because we got that message that says, remember, if you have other things to do, make sure you do them before you go to this planet. That's how post-BioWare games like to tell you that this is it. You're in Endgame. I suppose it's good that they do, so that you don't get surprised by them. You know what I mean? Because if they didn't tell you, then you might just go into the Endgame and not finish up your side quests. And somebody I know did that. Somebody I know was playing, was it the Outer Worlds? It's one of those games where I think it was the Outer Worlds where they finished it up real fast. And they're like, oh no, I didn't mean to finish it up, because, yeah. Anyhow, I do not think that's accurate. Wait, are you saying accidentally winning the game? Wait, are you saying that it's not accurate that I've only been playing for 20 or 19 days? Because the number 20 and 19 was involved in what Krellin said, and I just can't recall exactly what it was. What was it? Oh, I don't know. Anyhow, I want to let you know that song associations are up, so, somewhere near the end, I'm going to do a song association. We're giving ourselves 30 seconds for song associations, and then I suppose when we get ready, then I can speed it up. That's what I was saying. So I'm going to tell you the thing that I remembered. First off, hi, everybody. So, do you remember, I don't know if you do, but, I mean, some of you do. Some of you don't. For those of you who don't remember, there was a time in the before times. Guten Abend, Lohnkuh. Lohnkuh. I'm going to interrupt myself for a moment. I was just, going through videos, And I just was watching a video with Nina Hagen from like clearly 1980. Because she was looking very Susie Sue from Susan the Banshee. She had this. It was around the time of her first album just coming out, and it was this. It was on an English language talk show, and she was um, looking like Susie Sue from Susan the Banshees, and she, I mean, she had way better English than anybody there had German, but she was trying to remember various words anyway. I was like, oh, that's right, Nina Hagen. Mm. But one of the reasons why I thought about Nina Hagen, obviously, is because you said "Guten Abend," and then that made me think, because I just watched her, about the beginning to TV-Glotze, right? Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Willkommen. I can't remember the beginning. Anyway, it's like the TV announcer speaking, and the whole song is all about how TV makes you want material goods, and like it's like a Ich glotz von Ost nach West und wir alles so bunt. So it's all about like being in Eastern Germany and seeing Western German television with all of its consumer goods on TV, and how that is not good for you. So it's like it's interesting. Nina's not my jam concerning the music, but she is wild. She is wild. Uh, Wait, Krella's gonna ask me if I'm ready to be sad and jealous. Yes, yes, I am. Are you gonna have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with like fancy jelly, like apricot or something? You should tell me. Um, Speaking of German, I picked up Sniper Elite 4, and I've been catching all the German without the subtitles. The lessons are slowly paying off. Nice. Oh, you're Elite 5. You're playing Pathfinder Adventure card game tomorrow. I am sad and jealous. Which one are you playing? I want to play. So I said hi, hello, right? That's what I said. Uh, hey, Valtiel. So I'm going to share with those people who are too young to know about. Oh, Mummy's Mask. Oh, I want to finish that. So, for those of you who do not remember, let me tell you about the before times. You see, there was once a time, a long time ago, when people did not have telephones or telephonic devices upon their body at all times. Telephonic devices were restricted to the home, or perhaps a telephonic device box you would find upon the street. Yes, and at this time, only one person could call you at the same time. If you were on the telephonic device and somebody called you, they would get a busy signal, and then you would not know that they had called, because there would have been a busy signal. Yes, yes indeed. It was the before times, and in these before times, if you were a fancy sort of person, you might have what was called an answering machine. It was a strange-looking machine that you put a cassette tape in. And if somebody, because you see, back then, if someone called your telephonic device, but you were not at home, or you were in the shower or something, and you could not get to the telephonic device within enough rings, they would hang up, and you would never know what it was they wanted. And so this is why the answering machine was created. It was something fancy. It had a cassette tape on it. You know, a cassette tape. And if the telephonic device rang a certain number of times and you did not pick it up, it would go over to the telephonic device and a message that you had recorded would pop up, and then you would leave a message on the telephonic device. Yes, this is what it was like in the before times. Yes. Now I'm going to make you feel better. You got to play more RPGs this week than I do. I have no RPGs for the 5th. That's fair. That is fair. That's fair. Riss says, without any way of knowing who was on the other end until you picked up. That's also true. Atomic says, speaking of the before times, I was watching Mrs. Doubtfire yesterday and snickered when they went to the restaurant and had to choose smoking or non-smoking. Ah, yes, because smoke always stayed in the smoking section. Kron says, and then we got telemarketers, and it turned out we didn't actually want to answer most calls, and then telephones were ruined forever. Yes, that's what happened. But I had two best friends back in the before times, and one of my best friends had a sister, an older sister, and she made a message for the answering machine, for the telephonic device. And I believe that I still remember the message. I said the first opening of the message, which was hi, hello. But do I remember the whole thing? I might. So, if I might, I'm going to try to recall a telephonic message, an answering machine message from the 80s. Whenever I think of answering machine, says Atomica, I think of Catwoman calling home in Batman. Oh. Okay. Beverly, the sister of my best friend. This was the message on her answer machine, if I can remember it completely. It went. 1980s, right? Hi, hello, how are you? I'm not at home right now, but you probably knew. If you're fine and you're handsome and a freaking is your fancy, if you're cold and you're bold, then you ought to be told to leave your name and number at the sound of the phone. At the sound of the tone. The sound on the phone. All alone. That was it. That was the answer. That's a vintage answering machine message from the 1980s. Hi, hello, how are you? I'm not at home right now, but you probably knew. If you're fine and you're handsome and a freaking is your fancy, if you're cold and you're bold, then you ought to be told to leave your name and number at the sound of the tone. The sound on the phone. All alone. Beep. There you go. I just thought I'd share some vintage answering machine excitement with you. There you go. That's the 80s. Curl says, like, imagine a world. Wait, sorry. Like, imagine a world where every time the phone rang, you knew it was a human being calling you, wanting to talk to you, not some stranger wanting to sell you something, but an actual person waiting to communicate with you, specifically. How awesome would that be? I don't know, Krellin. I can't even imagine what that would be like. I don't think I can imagine a world where it's people calling you. Rista says, and do you remember how if you were on the phone, anyone in the house could pick up a receiver? Yes. And if they were sneaky enough, they could listen to your conversation? Yes. Yes, I do remember. Baltiel says, party lines were even worse. You could hear your neighbors listening and oh my. Hey, Bronx Smash, how are you? Bronx Smash, Bronx Smash. Also, that TV show Smash with Catherine McPhee and Megan Hilty. Right? You weren't a real teen in the late 80s unless you had a transparent phone in your room. We only had one phone in my house. We were, it's fine. And, by the way, I never had a modem in my house growing up. So, I never had the get off the phone modem problem because we just didn't have a modem. So, good. Good. I'm so glad. What are you doing, Brock Smash? So we're playing right now, Murder on Eridanos, and the only reason my parents got a second line is because I came back from college, used to being online, so they got a second line for the modem. That makes sense. I was just talking to somebody else about early internet days. Because many people, Rissa said, I did have a phone in my room, but it was a deep teal. Nice. No PCs in my house until I lived on my own. Yeah. I was talking to some people about the before times, about mushes. I was talking to some folks about mushes because I used to play in this Vampire the Masquerade mush, and it's interesting. Listen to your lovely singing. Oh, thank you, Bronx. Because I don't know. I was thinking about how people were like, what would be really great? What would be really great is if we could figure out a way, have a video game where everybody plays online at the same time, but like a a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, but like you could create your own like locations and objects, like have your own house. It's like, yes, Mushes did that. Mushes did do that. It's just they didn't have graphics, but they did. Like you could, all those things, you could do those things. So by the way, this is, why are you running?
Gotta keep going. I can feel my inner negativity seeping out.
Oh no. Oh no. So here's the thing I want to tell you all right now about this profit of profitability situation. Because I looking at all of the literature, you have great facial hair, my guy.
Good enough to be better than everyone.
Like you have really good facial hair. I would like to chat with you because your facial hair is so good.
I'm going to absolutely murder the next quarterly report.
Okay, I guess. I wanted to tell you something about this. BBS shenanigans. Oh, I love BBS. They were good, right? Yes. Some had graphics. They were ASCII graphics, but they were graphics. ASCII art for the win. Oh, do you remember when you could go and get? I mean, I remember printing out something like printing out something from like a BBS or whatever it was, and when you print it out in your dot matrix printer, there would be like some sort of like beautiful bit of ASCII art that would start off, and there was like sometimes like really cool ASCII art you could get. There are vending machines here, by the way. This is all steely, and there are way too many people looking at me, so I'm not going to steal those things. I am, however, absolutely 100% going to go to those vending machines and sell and break down as many things as I can, because that's necessary for me. Let's just sell some junk because I'm a little... And now I'm no longer over encumbered, everybody. Look at that. See? See? I'm not even over encumbered anymore. Just like that. Yay, being proud of me. Although, I do feel like I need more weapons parts, so I should probably not sell any of the weapons. I should break them down.
Seeping out of me. Breathe deep the fumes of revelation.
I was going to tell you all something about the profit of profitability. I'm going to go read chat first, though. Dot matrix printer, I missed that sound, right? And I also missed like taking the little edges of the dot matrix printer and like using them to make weird little slinkies. Carl says ASCII art and pixel graphics, like the things people did with those was amazing. Yes. Way more remarkable and creative than the polygon massive monstrosities we have tried to imitate photography. Only if being encumbered were that easy in the long dark. I know, in the long dark it's really hard. Look, I'm very impressed with some video game stuff. It's like, you know, there's some very impressive things happening in video game stuff. It is true. You know what it reminds me of, actually? It reminds me a little bit of visual novels, right? There are a lot of people who figure out how to make visual novels on their own, right? Like it can be just them and be just them, or maybe them and a friend, and they're able to figure out how to make visual novels. And okay, this we can break down. Let's break this one down. Let's break down. Ugh, we have to sort again. There we go. Let's see. I'm looking for things that are not particularly high level. I do have money. Everybody. So that's something. I'm going to break this down. Let's break that down, because I just don't have enough weapon parts, and it makes me sad. I think level 32 and lower, we're going to just break down everything that is there, and that's a level 33. Our new number is 33. Oof. Well, I said 33. That's what I said. I said that we're gonna break down everything that is level 33 and below. So that's our deal. This is level 30. Nope, that's science. We're not. Nope. Those are all special things. We're not breaking those down. We'll probably just keep them on the ship. There you go. Break down that. I feel like we are good. Okay. I've got a lot of armor parts, so I don't think I need to break that down, but I can. What is it? It's tinker. I think I can tinker with some things, and if I, okay, I've got a 38, a 39, a 37. My friends have got 37, 36s. 33. We'll just remember. What is this? Two-handed? That's a 36. That's 553. And this is 576. I suspect we can maybe. What is this? It has a knockdown. That's 503. Because I have a friend who is hanging out with a one-handed melee weapon. I'm gonna see if this is better than what she's got, and if it is, I'm just gonna swap it out so that because I do feel bad if I don't give my friends the most updated things ever. Like that's really nice. So I don't think she can get anything better than what she's currently got there. But I do think that Nyoka might do better with what is it? This is 576. This will do 508. This does 553. I think we'll put her in that, even though it's a little bit less, because I think if I upgrade it, it will do, I think the term is hella damage. So, so that's a 2528. What is that? It's a machine gun Mark III. Yeah, we're just gonna. I just think what she's got right now is probably best. All right, now that I know I'm gonna tinker on these things, I'm gonna just chat with you all. This Claymore. Ooh, this Claymore costs a lot more to upgrade. This is a 36. She did have. Hold on, I've got to double check. She did have this, which is level 33. No, back. I actually think that maybe the thing I had on her was better, but I just have to tinker with it. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna spend money to make her weapon better, because this is. I feel like this is gonna be. We'll see. So that's this is currently 663, which is better than that 530, 553. Yeah. So yeah. Clearly. Just yeah, there see. Oh, we can. We're gonna make Nyoka way more effective. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go and read chat. Hey Artie, how are you? I hope all is going well. You managed to get sleep. I did get some sleep. I stayed a little bit longer than I should have, but I did get some sleep. We were talking about alignment in chat because there's a whole discussion about, like, everyone was discussing, like, well, chaotic good would do this, or lawful evil would do this, like all that sort of thing. But I was just noting how I probably need to get better. Need to get better weapons. Or newer weapons, fresher weapons, younger weapons. I feel like, yes, I feel like I need to get younger weapons so that I can, here, so look at that. I feel like I've done as much tinkering as I could. Let's see if I can, yeah, I don't think I can do a lot of tinkering with that, but I might be able to, at least help my friends. Sure, sure. Yeah, yes. Let's just up things until they cost too much. Anyway, alignment. I was talking about how, okay, we're done with money. We're finished with money. We don't have any more, but we might be able to sell stuff. I don't know how much we can get for it, but might as well try because, you know, might as well try. Let me sell, armor. Anyhow, my point was that I started, and Jer broke me out of it, which I do appreciate. Jer was like, "You're getting into a rabbit hole." It's like, I am getting into a rabbit hole because I was thinking about how radically different the different editions described alignment. They really all described them in very different ways that were not all the same. And there's a lot of like, basically, it's really hard to say that this is what this armor would do or wouldn't do when they're just not consistent. You know what I mean? Like they're just amongst themselves, just not consistent with, let's sell this. It's not worth a lot, everybody, but yeah. They're just not consistent with what alignment means. And block, stealth, dodge, stealth. I don't feel like I'm ever going to wear that armor. Now, some of my friends might maybe should wear it, but also this is level 16, so we're going to sell that. This is some kind of, what is this? Oh, it's a uniform, so we're going to keep it because it might be important. This is a level 11 Persuado armor. Remind me, I'm going to go and break this down. We might get something cool for it. All these, what is this? This is a defense skills. Again, I just don't tend to defend myself ever. So, handguns. I do handguns. That could be interesting. We could maybe keep that. This is a mono lens. Engineering. We'll keep it. We could maybe use it. This is some low level light armor. We're getting rid of it. This is clothing, which helps me with hacking. We'll keep that. This is special armor, which we'll keep. It does a lot of stuff, but this is some hacking stuff we'll keep. This is some science stuff, which get rid of it. And this is some medical stuff, which I also think I can just get rid of. Hey, I don't know if you noticed, but I just got rid of a bunch of stuff, so you should be very proud of me. You know, I still have a whole bunch of these things, these things, but I will deal with that when I get back on this ship and am able to sort of. I was going to break down that one thing which I thought would give me extra parts, and it was armor, weapons, right? Yes, no, yes, no. Armor. 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 We wanted to get rid of this one armor piece here, which I think maybe will give us bonuses. It's pristine, which I think... I got an armor breakdown bonus. And I got cushioned souls. What does that mean? What are cushioned souls? Oh, I bet that's for stealth. I assume it's for stealth. I feel very good about where we're at, everyone, except my character needs to eat food because my character's addicted to food, and apparently if you don't eat food, it's bad. Everybody remind me, I want to get my medical up to 80 so I can unlock one more consumable slot, because I feel like that would be very useful. So... now that we are all set, I'm going to save. And then I'm going to catch up on chat, because you're all saying things and I know it. I just knew that I had to go and figure out what was going on with my inventory, or else I would get distracted. So that I was not going to be able to multitask. I can sometimes multitask shooting things, but you know. Priscilla says, is fool considered a soft insult like idiot? Oh, Priscilla, that's a, that's a good question. It's a good question. I have thoughts on that, but I'm catching up. Yeah, making the slinkies from the leader strips the old prince was always fun. Unless it's a special one, yeah. Rissa says, I caught myself using the phrase, I remember when, in conversation the other day, and felt so ridiculously old. Krillin notes, if it costs a lot to upgrade, it's probably because you already upgraded a lot. Yeah. If it does fire chaos damage, then it can be hella damage. Artie, that is very California of you. Very Northern California specifically. Rox is like, I just recently turned 45, so I feel you on that. Yeah, 45. That makes you just recently turned 45. That would mean that you are 6 years younger than I am, which would make you 1978, which means you are now Gen X.
No prey arrives, the hunters leave hungry.
Oh. You used to be Gen Y, but you are now Gen X, so welcome, Gen Xer. You don't exist. We have got an advantage on all of our stealth checks, just for the record. Was bed before 4 a.m. or after? I'm sorry, Valti, I couldn't hear what you said. I'm sorry, Valti, I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry. I would answer that question, but I just couldn't hear it. There's static. Oh, there's static on the phone. I can't hear you. So, Carl says, I don't think anyone tried to make clearly laid out distinctions on alignment until 3rd edition. Before then, it was mostly just up to the GM to decide what was in alignment with little guidance from the books. And then 4th edition downplayed alignment, and then 5th edition essentially eliminated. I think there was a lot more detail in AD&D 1E about what each of the 9 alignments are, because they expanded it now to 9. But I just was very struck by how they defined those alignments were very different, right? Early, the descriptions of chaotic in early D&D was like, you'll just do random things like put a fish on your head. Who knows why? Woo, chaotic. And you're like, oh, okay. That's why people think of chaotic neutral as just doing the most random things when that is not how they would describe chaotic neutral later. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I just think it's really fascinating how neutral changed from, because neutral used to be like, you're selfish and you'll steal from people, to you care about balance in all things. So like there's really very, very inconsistent, yes. Artie says, well, historically a fool is one of the few people that was allowed to poke fun of the king and nobles, so fools were often quite intelligent. Also, Rule is a fool who does he get out of the beer. Yes. Well, this is, we're all addicted to food. Yeah. Canadian, pretty far Californian. Hey, right now Gen X, I have been Gen X the whole time, but we are overlooked, so I'm used to it. Thanks. Yeah, because, well, the thing is that when I was younger, if you were born in 78, that was the beginning of Gen Y, but they got rid of Gen Y. So now people from, because it used to be like Gen Y starts at 78. They didn't have an endpoint for it at that time. because this is how they're talking about it, like in 90, right? Gen Y starts at 78, but then they just got rid of Gen Y. So now 78, 79, and 80 are now Gen X, or sometimes 80 is millennial. You know, yeah, it's weird. My sister's still bitter about it. So Pritzolo, I think it depends, right? Because as Artie notes that a fool was a job position, right? It's like a clown. It was a description of a clown, like a fool or a clown. But you can also use both clown and fool as an insult. And some people will probably be very, very angry with you if you do. If you call somebody a clown, you clown, they might be mad at you. Yeah. Oh, I missed the conversion of Y to X. Yeah, that conversion happened. Y didn't stick around that long, but because then they decided to go with millennial. I don't know when that shift happened. I could probably check the engrams for it, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. So I would say that fool doesn't necessarily have to be an insult, but it has often become one. But there are still contexts where you could use it in the non-insulty way. But I think most people would assume if you call someone a fool, you're insulting them. Because I think most people don't think about medieval fools and jesters, right? Like court jesters and fools. I don't think most people think about them in that context. So I think for most contexts, it would be an insult nowadays, in most contexts, I would say. Idiot pretty much is always an insult. Yeah. And I've been called exennial way more than Gen X. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I suppose exennial is the new Gen Y. We could just have Gen Y, though. It's fine. Okay, and here's the weird thing, right? We have Gen X. We used to have Gen Y. We no longer have Gen Y. Now we have millennials and then Gen Z. So there's just this missing Y. It's just missing. Welcome. If you are in search of a seminar, please speak to the Prophet of Profitability directly. Messages on this terminal are private. Should you read them, your humors may be thrown off balance. Is your curiosity worth the loss of profits? Yeah. Let's read them. Let's read the messages. That's what I want to know. We're going to go backwards from your devoted attendee. Prophet, the other attendees of Tripling Profits through Transcendentalism and I have reconvened, and we're all in agreement. Your seminars are simply top-notch. We've seen a 0.5 increase in each of our businesses in total profits since we attended your seminar together. Of course, with the price of materials, shipping, and other costs involved, it boils down to more of a 0.1% increase. But an increase is an increase. If you ever decide to visit the Grand Colonial, you simply must let us purchase you a round of drinks. Thank you. We certainly have the bits for it. 0.1% is probably within the margin of error. Let's see what Lee Whitaker has to say. Hey, Prophet, Whitaker here. Wanted to ask how that mix of herbs I sent you has worked out. I was skeptical at first about using them for meditation purposes, but hell, what do I know about productivity? That said, be sure to remember what I told you. Don't cut the herbs asymmetrically. Hampers the texture. Don't leave them out in the sun, and for the law's sake, make sure you keep the smoke doses small. Last thing you want is to accidentally send somebody into a coma, or worse, kill them. Be smart. Whitaker. From Ruth Bellamy, our Moida victim. Be ready for this, just in case. There might be something important going on. I have to be ready. Hold on. Okay. I'm ready. Prophet, I've talked with my agents, and they've told me that what I said about your seminars, not taking them, actually lost you about 30% of your revenue for the next 3 months, with future losses projected. When I said I wasn't much interested in attending, I didn't really realize that I'd hit you quite as hard as it did. I guess that's the price of stardom. Everyone listens a little extra everything you said. I'm hoping if you've got space that I might be able to attend one of your sessions today as a means of apologizing. I know that is short notice, but I'm hoping that you can fit me in without too much inconvenience. Ruth Bellamy. which I feel like is a plot. I feel like our good old Ruth Bellamy was investigating, and that's why she said what she said. This is my... Hi, disciple.
I can feel my inner negativity seeping out of me.
So, I've been called Exennial way more than Gen X. Oh, that's really interesting. I wonder when Exennial became popular as a term. Engrams. So, when I first heard about the profit of profitability and saw all that stuff going on, right? I assumed the profit of profitability...
By concentrating on profit, I can invite wealth into my life.
I thought that the profit of profitability wasn't a cult. I thought that she was like one of those charismatic... You have a ponytail. Nice. One of those charismatic MLM types, you know? Like,
Aren't you the adjutant's special agent?
Yes.
Goodness! Are we going to see Sophia Akande herself at this retreat?
Probably not. I doubt it. Hello.
Hello. Welcome
Hi.
to the Prophet of Profitability's Private Prosperity Retreat. Stay positive, and soon all your humors will be balanced. Least, that's what I keep telling myself. Anyway, I'm Aaliyah Mason. I work as the Prophet's right-hand woman. What can I do for you?
Interesting. You seem to have a little bit of doubt. Did I eat? Wait, I don't think I ate. Excuse me for a moment. I've got to
Thanks for
step out.
tuning.
I'm going to
It's
chat
nice
with you.
to find some way to occupy my time. Since the Prophet seems to be looking after herself a little more, I've been less occupied.
Oh, no, I'm
She
going to
didn't
talk...
tell me as much,
Oh.
but I saw her dragging away a large, heavy bundle out into the wilderness very late at night. I suppose she was making a late-night laundry run. I'm surprised she had so much laundry, though. It seemed almost as if there could be an entire person in her bundle.
Well, apparently we're not leaving this conversation. That seems like a very specific observation.
What can I say? Oh, I see. No, the idea of the Prophet dragging a corpse away from the retreat is ridiculous, and I wouldn't want to get her in trouble. Though, if it were discovered that she did something untoward, someone new would have to take her place.
I see. Why are you telling me this?
I'm simply making conversation.
Oh, I
And
see.
if that happens to help any, slug investigations
Uh-huh.
into certain murders, all the better.
I see. That's all very good to know. That's all very good to know. Thank you. I actually just wanted to eat food and then talk to you again because I was chatting with my chat and then my food addiction thing. Apparently you have to eat regularly, sort of cropped back up again. But let me just chat with you one more time, person. Hi.
Welcome back. I hope you have been keeping positive and productive. How may I help you balance your humors today?
This was the conversation I wanted to have. Also, that was very mysterious about that body. Yeah. Artie says, I hate it when I get halfway through a thought before losing it and then staring at the half-typed phrase, trying to figure out what was saying. Yeah. She's got those... She does... Okay, so I was going to say that I really appreciate that actually her afro looks good. Very often, they don't do afros Look, I'm going to just say this about this game. This game does hair well. They also do facial features well. We've talked about this before, but I'm very impressed with this game. So many games don't do a good job. They also do a very good job with skin texture. Like, many video games, they do not do ethnic hair well, and they sometimes just don't do hair well full stop. And you're just like, this is very sad. Your hair looks like, why does this hair look like this? Why do people look like this? Why is this happening? But I have been continuously impressed with the ways in which people look really good in this game. They don't look like a photograph or anything like that, to go back to what Krellin said earlier. But, like, so here's the thing. If you look at this afro, right, you can see it looks as if it is actually made up of various strands of hair. We know that's fake, but you can see, like, on the edges of her afro, like, the little bits, like, it looks like it's actual hair. Yeah, it really looks good. It looks like they looked at someone who had an afro and then tried to make one rather than, I don't know what some other games do. Really, I do not know. Yeah. My ex-wife, who was 7 years older than me, was trying to deny that I was Gen X, so she was the first to call me Exennial. No! I see that. Yep. Money and budgets. You know, Artie, here's the thing. Is it money and budgets? Because I ask because this is what, Obsidian? And they're not like, I mean, they're a big studio, but they're not, like, they had to kickstart Pillars of Eternity because they couldn't find a publisher and didn't have the money to do, like, no publisher wanted to publish an isometric RPG at that point in time, and so they had to do it themselves. And it's not like they're nobody, right? But I mean, they're not Valve. They're not Blizzard, Activision, now maybe also Microsoft. I feel like they're way bigger studios that just do not do as good a job with hair. I think it has something to do with maybe they had somebody who was like, you know what, let's do this right. They have been acquired by Microsoft, and this game was released under that umbrella. Wait, Krellin, Obsidian has been acquired by Microsoft? That is a good faith reading. There's probably also some racism mixed in there. Yeah. Wait. They've been acquired by Microsoft? I tend to do good faith readings at the first glance until proven otherwise. That is why this game was on the Game Pass. This makes me sad. Yeah, Microsoft bought a ton of game studios in the past few years. This makes me sad. I watched a YouTube video essay, by the way. I'm going to finish this conversation. Don't let me forget, YouTube video essay. What can you tell me about for a positivity disciple, you sound a little less than enthused.
Oh, terribly sorry if I gave you that impression. I had a cramp. It's better now. I mean, it might be nice if I had a little inclination of whether the prophet appreciated all the cooking and cleaning and hours of meditation I do on a daily basis. But whatever she thinks isn't for me to question. I'll do my best to be more chipper.
You don't have to be around me. By the way, I thought that she was, like, I thought the prophet of profitability was going to be a bit more like Tom Cruise in Magnolia. You know, like one of those people that has that kind of like TEDx mic, right? You know, headset mic. You know that particular kind of mic around their mouth, that little mic around their mouth, who would like give big speeches. And would be like, you know, I did not realize it was a full-on cult with people whipping themselves and running around and not sleeping for days on end. I thought it was just going to be like hey, I'm the prophet of profitability. Give me lots of money and I'll give you like some silly TED talk, right? But full-on quote. What can you tell me about the retreat?
If you felt imbalanced and unproductive, linger in your malaise no longer. We have all the amenities and practices for calming the ill humor strangling your potential. Sit for hours in our sweat house and sweat them out, or stand amidst burning coals and feel your productive inhibitions burn away. And remember, think positive. Positivity equals productivity equals profitability.
I don't know who this voice actor is, but I like her. She does a really good job of getting that kind of passive-aggressive, I don't care about this, but I'm reading, like, this person is doing a very good job. Because I was just thinking about voice acting, something that Krellin has said earlier about playing Midnight Suns, and Matt Mercer not really giving it, sort of phoning in it a bit, but then the female voice actor doing a really, really good job. This person's doing a good job. I just thought about this. Wizard Style says, I have heard from a lead developer at Obsidian directly that afros and so on are difficult for animators, which may just be because they're so rarely done, though, and there are fewer available assets. At least that's my suspicion. This in the context of Pillar of Eternity, which did not have good hair. Not the Outer Worlds. Oh, yeah. Wizard Styles, Pillars of Eternity did not have good hair. And here's the thing. I don't believe that doing afros is that hard. I really, really don't. Considering some of the hairstyles that I've seen people do, that I was like, wow. But I will say, I do think that doing hair in general is hard, right? Like, I think that doing hair well is hard in general. I don't think that afros are more difficult than doing, like, some of these ridiculous hairstyles. But because here's the thing about afros, right? Here's why I think that afros are not more difficult. Because afros do not have to sway. You don't have to put in a lot of afro physics. Like, you don't have to put in a lot of physics like you do for a ponytail or like wispy hair or whatever. So I don't think it's harder, but I just don't think people do it, right? And I think if you've never done it, you've never practiced doing it, maybe they're not any pre-made assets and you haven't done it before and you don't know what afros are like, then I feel like you probably will have a harder time visualizing what they do. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I think it's not true, but I think it, oh, how do I put this? I think it probably is true if you don't know what they are, if you don't really know what they're like, but I feel like it may not be true in like if you do know what they're like. That's my thought. I mean, ultimately it comes down to budgets and what difficult things money is spent on. You know, Wizard, it's so funny. This is the advanced class of that type of person. Super, yes. Wizard already says to Word Styles, yeah, hopefully more assets will lead to more and better representation. So here's the thing I was thinking about, right? Do you remember that time when hair devs, right? But Brock Smash, this is the thing. Hair devs need to study afros, right? And this happens all the time, right? So actors will go onto set. Like, there have been these stories about black women who are actors who have to do their own hair and makeup because the hair and makeup people don't know how to do black hair. And if they do black hair, then those actors look terrible, right? If they go the hair and makeup trailer, those actors look terrible. So that these black actors, these women, have to go to work early. They have to get to on set at like 5 a.m, whereas their non-black colleagues can get in at like 6. They have to spend the money to their own hair and makeup because the hair and makeup person will just does not know how to do it. And that hair and makeup person's like, yeah, but like black hair is just too difficult. It's just too difficult. But that's just not true. It's just that you haven't studied how to do it, right? You know, and so that's part of the thing that SAG-AFTRA is striking for. One of their demands is that they said that they want to say that studios have to hire people who are qualified to do their hair and makeup of all of the people who've been cast on the show. That's one of the demands. I don't know if the producers union or the producers organization have decided to say yes on that one or not. I cannot say. I have not looked at the most recent breakdown of demands, negotiating points. But yeah, so that's a thing, right? Artie says, yeah, it's easier to stick with what is easily and more readily available. Yeah, and Wizard says, yeah, I think it's true, but the unspoken thing underlying is that it's hard for animators because they haven't learned to do it, and there aren't as many resources already out there. Yeah. And there's also some underlying racism there, even if it is subconscious. Oh no, but that is the racism, right? It's not, and when I say this, I really mean that in like a structural way. I don't mean to say that individual person is racist. I mean, it's structural. If you go to hairdressing school, you're probably not going to ever learn. And actually, here's the thing. It also has people who are not black, but who have really, really curly hair. I know a lot of people who have really, really curly hair, and they're like, yeah, I just can't go to most barbers because they just don't know how to cut my hair, and they'll screw it up. But of course, there's also still racism. Actually, I know friends of mine who are Asian in San Francisco, I grew up there, who also have this problem that they have a different hair texture, and they would go into a barber or a hairdresser, and that person would not know how to cut their hair, would cut it anyway, and it would be bad, right? And it's because they're not trained. If you look at, and like, here are these ways in which you get the structure, right? So if you, by the way, do you know the Prophet well?
Of course. I've been studying under her for years. I know each of her techniques more or less by heart, and even have some variations of my own, such as the quintuple daily stomach purges. She's promised me that I'd be allowed to open my own branch of the retreat someday soon. Of course, I've been waiting on someday soon for coming up on 4 years now. I'm sure it's gonna happen anytime now.
Mm-hmm. DSB, hey DSB, says, my mom, white Jewish, always said her best haircuts were from black hairdressers because her hair was really, really curly. Yeah. Yes. Also high. So this is the thing, right? And DSB did nail polish. Oh, DSB, you said a comment the other time that I wasn't able to read out loud in chat on Thursday about how you learned the difference between like a $20 nail polish and a $200 nail polish. And like, yes, like there's certain things you think, oh, that's like, what? But then it turns out those things mean something, right? So, look, I was in the Army and I had to deal with some people who could not do hair. And I think about the ways in which this structurally happens, right? If you go to hairdressing school, you practice on these hairdressing heads, right? And those hairdressing heads are usually not for curly hair. Like they usually do not have like curly headed hairdressing heads. And they usually do not have a range of textures. And then if you look at, so for example, you're in this class and most of the textbooks you have do not talk about having ethnic hair and how to cut them. And then your teachers have not done it, so they don't teach you how to do it. They just teach you these general techniques or whatever it is, which works fine for like a lot of people, but not for everybody. And then you go and you work at Supercuts or whatever, and you never really deal with people who have different hair textures. You never learn how to do it, and you never have to learn how to do it. And that is 220, not 200 law, but yes, thank you. And I think this is the thing, right? That this is privilege, right? So privilege is not having to learn something, right? And I think that some people are like, oh, I'm a privilege, but there is privilege in being the norm, right? That's really what privilege is about. If you are a hairdresser and you've never learned how to do ethnic hair, you'll be able to get a job on a movie set. And you'll be able to say, yeah, I can't do your hair, and just leave it at that, and no one's going to fire you for it. And you won't even have to be expected to do it. But if you walked on set and you could only do ethnic hair, people would be like, you can't do your job, and then you wouldn't get the job, right? And if you want to be able to get good at ethnic hair, you're going to have to go and take special classes or go to a special sort of hair salon or basically apprentice in special shops that do that. You have to go out of your way to learn how to do ethnic hair or we can say ethnic hair to include really curly Jewish hair too. Yeah, right. You have to go out of your way to learn it. And that is, you know what I mean? And you might have to also get different materials, learn different skill sets. And so it's harder. It's not harder. You could just learn it, right? But because you haven't learned it, then it's harder because it's not the norm. It's out of the norm. And that's privilege, right? So privilege is not, I'm a bad person. The privilege is that you can go, and the thing is, I know people who were hairdressers who actually were kind of bitter about it, right? Because they paid all this money to go to hairdressing school. Like they paid a lot of money. They spent all those like hundreds of hours and they got out of it and they couldn't do a weave. They couldn't do straightening. There's all these things that are often quite standard. They couldn't do the kind of texturing for like Asian hair. There's all these sorts of things that could actually make you a lot of money even, that you could learn and you could be good at, but they didn't even learn it. Sometimes they didn't even know. And you can see it because I've been watching react videos to America's Next Top Model. Don't ask me why, but I have. And they always do these makeovers. And whenever people with ethnic hair come in to do their makeovers, they often, and these are like high-end salons, right? They often get screwed up because the people there don't know how to do their hair, or they'll do things like, let's put a weave in this white girl's hair, but that's not great because they didn't know how to, like, they're like, we're going to give her like, oh, there's this one model and they gave her dreadlocks and she was like white with very thin hair and it ruined her hair. Also, they didn't really know how to do dreadlocks, right? Like it ruined her hair. And if this were just part of the curriculum, then it wouldn't be hard, right? If you just learned it along with everything else, but that's not how it works, right? Artie says, it's harder because it isn't done. Exactly. Just like if you're used to shooting rifles, then shooting a bow or shooting pistols is going to be harder. Yep, because it is inherently harder because you're just not familiar with it yet. And Artie, I think what makes it more difficult, right? I'm going to yes and you. If you knew nothing, then none of them would be harder, right? They would all just be equally hard. And if you were like a novice where you're still expecting things to be difficult, then of course it wouldn't be any harder. I think the problem comes when you have, as you said, right? When you get used to something, right? When you get used to something, that becomes easy. Like everything is hard when you first learn it. But once you are good at something, that becomes easy, then everything else feels more hard. There was a whole study about this, about the reason why it's easier for children to learn art or music or things like that, to learn things, is not necessarily because their brains are plastic and it's so much easier to learn when you're younger, which I suppose is also a part of it. But more specifically, their aesthetic sensibilities have not yet been developed, so they don't know that they're bad, right? So that when you first start at drawing, you're not very good at it. That's just how life is. If you first start drawing, it's not going to look like it is in your mind, or you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be very good at it. And when you're an adult and you start drawing, you can see that you're not very good at it. Adults tend to get more frustrated because it seems more hard because they're not very good at it, and so they quit. But kids do not realize that that does not look like a house, and they just keep going, right? So there's something about kids not realizing how bad they are at something, and so they just keep going at it. But when you get older, you actually realize, oh wow, I didn't do this well. But that's part of the process, right? You have to start somewhere, and you're not going to be very good at it, and then you get better. But apparently, basically, in weird paradoxical ways, adults can be a little bit less patient when it comes to their own failings, right? DSB say people don't want to make wigs from curly hair either. Yep, they want straight hair, and if they want curls, they just end up curling the straight hair. Yes. Plus, there are length requirements for donating, which are often based in needing certain lengths to weave into the wig. Yep, which is also a skill set that isn't applied to ethnic hair. Yep. So then hairdressers don't really learn to cut ethnic hair and have to learn on real people, which is a much harder sell. Yes. I'm going to tell you about one of the worst haircuts. I mean, I've had some bad haircuts, but one of the worst haircuts I had was in Germany. I'm going to say this. I was hired to look into Halcyon Helen's murder. Gonna ask you a few questions.
Oh my. Yes, this is important enough for me to delay my bi-hourly self-flagellation. Ask away.
Bi-hourly should mean every 30 minutes, right? And then semi-hourly would be every other hour. The Prophet had some kind of feud with Halcyon Helen, right?
Yes, the circumstances there are quite unfortunate. For a time, the Prophet was completely despondent. Even the hot coal walks weren't buoying her spirits as they usually do. However, we recently had a high-profile visitor whose presence seemed to alleviate whatever the Prophet's fears were.
Oh, Krellin says, no, the other way around. Bi is every 2, semi is half. Okay, I was thinking bisect. So I was like, bisect? Like you're cutting it in half? Thank you, Krellin. Artie says, I wonder if one of the things that led to abstract art from artists is they don't actually picture things in their mind. Oh, Artie, one of the videos that DSB linked, they were artists who do really good representational stuff, but they don't picture things in their mind, but they still do really good representational stuff anyway. And I thought that was really interesting. The people who are aphantasic, but are like a bunch of artists. It was really good. It's bisect because you're making 2 bi parts sect. Oh. Valentine was just about to ask the same question. Spencer Woolrich?
Oh, you must have misheard me. I said high profile, not had profile.
Oh!
Mr. Woolrich comes by much too often to be worth mentioning.
Ouch! Ouch! Okay, yeah, but...
Yes, the circumstances there are quite unfortunate. For a time, the Prophet was completely despondent. Even the hot coal walks weren't buoying her spirits as they usually do. However, we recently had a high-profile visitor whose presence seemed to alleviate whatever the Prophet's fears were.
Biannual can mean both twice a year and every year because language evolves even if I don't like it. My guess is that bi-weekly has gone through a similar change. Yeah, so I find it very... So whenever somebody says bi-weekly, I never know what they mean. Or bi-monthly, I never know what they mean. And I just wish, just use the word fortnight. If you mean every 2 weeks, say fortnight, so then I know. Look, the fact that semi and bi that basically we're kind of dropping semi in some ways and just using bi for everything is very frustrating because then I don't always know what they mean. I really don't always know. And so bi-monthly should mean every 2 months, right? Every other month would be bi-monthly? But everybody I know uses bi-monthly to mean every 2 weeks. I like the UK use of fortnightly. I like fortnightly as well. Colonel's like, yeah, people's bullshit language changes. Things mean things. Thing means language ceases to communicate. Fortnite is played daily. That's fair. Language can change, sure, but don't change it so that you stop understanding. So that's the thing, right? Language does change, but language sort of often will change organically, right? If you just, that's why a lot of slang, well, then again, a lot of slang was never meant to actually communicate with outsiders anyway, right? A lot of slang was meant to be impenetrable to people who are not in the subculture. Yeah, so I still, hey, Baron Tor, welcome in. So I still get confused when people say bi-monthly. I never know if they actually mean every other month or twice a month. It is very frustrating to me. It's very frustrating. By the way, who was this?
I'm actually not entirely certain. It was a surreptitious visit that stood out because it was surreptitious. Whoever it was must have paid the prophet quite a lot to keep things quiet. At least that's the only reason I can think of for intentionally keeping things so hush-hush.
You're trying to, I see what you're doing. So one of the worst haircuts I had. I mean, I've had probably worse haircuts, but this was like one of the most frustrating. But I also don't blame the hairdresser. Like, this is one of those haircuts that I do not blame the hairdresser for, but it was a whole thing. Yeah, like the term gentleman has lost its original meaning. Yeah. DSP says, look, I've been angry about the conflating of infer and imply since high school, but my anger has done nothing to slow the spread. Yeah. Have you noticed any unusual behavior in the retreat lately?
Well, by and large, no. But something rather odd did happen regarding the prophet recently.
Yes.
A few hours after our high-profile visitor arrived a couple of days ago,
Yes.
the prophet asked me to take over sessions for the remainder of the day. At first, I was excited. Thought it was my chance to show her what I could do in charge. But then I saw that she was deeply worried about something. No one saw her until the next day.
Interesting. Where were you at the time of the... Where were you at the time of the murder?
I was here at the retreat in the company of the other disciples and clients. I rarely have more than a few minutes of alone time.
Oh, I don't think you did it.
Fine, of course. I do what I do in the service of the prophet, who will, I'm sure, reward me for my sacrifice. Eventually.
Krellin just says, I'm unable to find who this voice actress is because almost all the cast listings for this DLC are just additional voices. That's a bummer, because I think she's good. Infers me doing it imply is you doing it, if I recall correctly. Oh, I'm interested to see the follow-up on that one.
Certainly.
Yes, so we're gonna go. It was Murder Hornets. So I knew that I would be hungry again. I knew it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to talk to the prophet until I do a good 360 around the space, though. Okay, so I was in...
To purge the mind of truth.
Okay, culty. So this was, I was in Germany, and I was teaching English. I taught English at the Inlingua-Sprachschule. So, you know, I taught English, and this was one of these sort of gigs that is a freelance gig. So, although I ended up getting enough hours that I was able to get health insurance. No, I already had health insurance. I lived in Germany.
The
Duh.
prophet says to purge the mind of truth, that her truth is the only truth. Facts serve no purpose in the pursuit.
I worry about you. I worry about you a lot. Anyhow, but this is a job, I enjoyed it very much. It was one of those jobs where the hours were very weird because my language classes were like an hour and a half long or 2 hours maybe, but I wouldn't necessarily get classes back to back. So I might have like a class in the morning and then like 4 hours later, another 2 classes back to back. So it was always like long, weird setups, right? Hello? Am I, Okay. I feel like we are good to talk to her.
By concentrating on profit, I can invite wealth into my life.
Great for you. Okay. This is your tent. I wonder what would happen if I step on those hot coals. It would probably be bad, right? So I shouldn't do it. Yeah, I'm gonna eat first. Das Bauhaus. I'm gonna eat first. Carly, did you eat? Eat! You paid your flaw, now indulge in it. Yeah, and look, here's the thing. I'm just telling you that I am glad that I took it, even though it's annoying, because it reminds me that in real life, I also have to eat. You know, yes. Hold on, I'm gonna save. and then I'm going to tell you about my haircut, and then I'm going to go in and have this conversation with the prophet of profitability, because I will not be able to tell you the story, I feel like, unless I actually, yeah, I'm going to eat. Don't worry. So, Krill, if I'm the author speaker, yes. Infer is from the audience. Imply is from the author. Wait. I'm implying something, but the audience infers, right? So no, the speaker implies, the audience infers. DSP says, but there's nuance there too, because you can often make an argument, inference, that the author implied something. So the two words often get used in the same context. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna eat. Okay, so look, this is what happened, right? So I have this like job with like big splotches of time. I needed a haircut. I'm living in Germany. I need a haircut. I finished my morning class. I've got like 4 hours before my next class. So I figured, and as I'm like going down, I go down into the city center. I'm going to go get lunch, right? I want to go get lunch. And so I think, let me go get lunch. And as I'm going down, there's a hair salon. And I was like, oh, a hair salon. You know what? I need a haircut. Let me go to the hair salon and get a haircut. And I should not take me very long, because I just need like a, what I used to do all the time before this, shorten back like a shorten back, like a fade, shorten back on the side, short on the sides and back, probably like, a fade from a 0 to a 3, and then leaving it a little bit longer on top. That's really all I need. It's not that big of a deal. So I get in there and I'm like, do you have any time for a haircut? They're like, yes, we do. And I was like, great. I'm looking for, and I sit down in the chair and I'm like, what do you want? I was like, yeah, I just would like a fade, shorten the sides and back, fading from like a 0 to like a 3 maybe, and then leave it, like blend it, but leave it longer on top. And they're like, okay. And then they're like looking at me. And then she brings out the clippers. No, sorry, the scissors. She brings out the scissors. And I look at her like, what is she going to do with these scissors? And she starts cutting my hair with scissors. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Okay. So I sit there, and like an hour later, she's still cutting my hair with scissors. And I say, because I really would like to get lunch, right? And I say, if you use the clippers, that'll just go much faster. You can just use the clippers. And she's like, oh, no. Like real hairdressers only use scissors. You never use clippers. People who don't know how to cut hair are the ones who use clippers. And I was like, okay. It took her 3 hours to cut my hair. And also I needed to get the haircut again a second time, because she never actually was able to get it cut short enough. She didn't actually get the haircut done. She couldn't do my hair. She could not cut my hair. And the problem was that I was talking to, the difference between a stylist and a barber, yes, right? I was talking to somebody and they were like, yeah, she probably was never trained in how to use clippers, right? And I was like, oh, well. And by the way, what I did, Barontor, is I went back on base and I went to the army barber, and the army barber cut my hair and it was fine. They knew how to do it. It took like 15 minutes. Good, and we're gone. But that, I am sure for her, cutting my hair was really, really, really hard. It was not that hard. Like, if you knew how to use clippers, the haircut that I wanted was really not that hard at all. Like, you could do like a mediocre job and it would have been fine. You could do like, if you go to a really good barber, then you get like a great haircut, and they know how to do it really, really well. But like a mediocre barber can give you a shorten back on the sides, fade up, and like, be fine with it. But she clearly has never learned how to do clippers. So she was trying to do it with scissors, and that was miserable for her and for me. I was just like, look, I've got to go teach now. Like, I have to go. Like, I cannot stay here any longer. That's why we finished the haircut. It was miserable. And I'm sure for her, she would have thought this was just so hard. It's not that hard. She just has never been taught. And I'll point out that I was not mad at her. I was not mad at her. I was frustrated that my haircut took 3 hours, and it was also still not good, and I had to pay for it. That was frustrating. But I'm not mad at her because she was never taught. You know what I mean? Like, that's not her fault. I think what she should have done was say, I cannot do this haircut. That's what I think she should have done. And then it would have been like, oh, okay. When I asked, can you do this haircut? She's like, yes. I think she should have said no. But again, I don't think she knew what she didn't know, and she wasn't trained in it. And so, you know what I mean? Like, that's, That was unfortunate. Yeah. Barantor says, so on the on-base barber at Miramar when I was in was very slow. It was mostly older retired men, but there were some Vietnamese immigrants who had a barber outside base and we get it done half the time. Think it took 50 minutes. Oh my gosh. So I'm also thinking about things that are hard, that are just very hard to do, too hard to do. Well, she did leave an impression on me. That is 100% true. One of the things I was thinking about, right, is let's go to my salt tuna. One of the things I was thinking about was when I was in Korea. Hold on. Something's here.
Analysis suggests this to be a variety of herbs. Herbs have been uniformly treated with a pungent chemical mix. Warning: ingesting, smoking, or inserting non-corporation sanctioned substances into your ears may be harmful to your health.
Burning these would generate some pretty toxic smoke.
Side effects from extended exposure include dizziness, nausea, and unconsciousness. Additional likelihood of organ shutdown and or death.
Can you analyze the chemical these herbs were treated with?
Analyzing. Complete. Substance appears to be a mix of industrial solvents and various essential oils. Substances include woolly cow dander remover, sprat oil, and starship surface wax.
Like turtle wax. A discrepancy amplifier. How would these most likely be used?
Prior analysis suggests these herbs reach peak effectiveness when users burn them and inhale the resulting smoke. Whether or not this increased effectiveness is good for an afflicted individual has yet to be determined.
Okay, I should definitely not taste the herbs, right? I should definitely not taste the herbs. I feel like what I'm hearing from this game is that I should not taste the herbs. Right? Right? I'm a bartender and I sometimes taste things. I'm gonna taste the herbs. Though the dry herbs are difficult to chew, the flavor is less bitter than you would have expected. It's woodsy, like tripicale, with a singed aftertaste. It's actually slightly better tasting than your average can of salt tuna, though so are most boots. It's kind of slow right now. It has gotten really slow at the moment to hit the button.
Hypothesizing potential side effects from herb consumption. Most likely outcome: decapitation. Slight possibility of calculation error.
Okay, let's make a note of it and move on. Hey, am I okay? I just ate herbs. I'm gonna just check on my character for the moment to see if there's anything. I should drink more things because I get a bonus duration to drinking things. I should do that. Well, it doesn't look like anything weird has happened to me because I drank that, so I think I'm fine. I'm afraid of worm-like creatures, but that was not my choice. Okay, well, I tasted it. Nothing bad has happened. So that's okay. I'm glad I tested. Okay, so let's chat with this woman, shall we? Cannot steal anything in here. It's so frustrating. Hello.
Fruitful and productive welcome, brother. I had a feeling you would visit me. I offer a wide variety of productivity seminars. I hope you'll consider taking one. But I should remember my manners. To what do I owe the pleasure of the Special Inspector's arrival?
DSB says, there was a TikTok of a black woman calling all the salons around her and asking if they had anyone who could cut 4C hair, and literally every single one said no. Yeah. Yeah, I just tasted the herbs. I did. I found out. I feel funny. Yep. I do. Look, Jezza tastes things. This is what I'm saying. I also remember when I was a kid, it was the 80s. Tall hair was very, very in fashion. I also grew up in San Francisco, and I had a lot of Asian people in school with me. mostly Cantonese, but not exclusively. And a lot of the hair care products you could buy would not help them get the hair they wanted, right? And so I remember sitting in the bus going from the swimming pool. There was like a public swimming pool that you had to take swimming lessons at. On the school bus going from the public swimming pool back to school. And they would be there with Aquanet working so hard to get like the guys working so hard to get super huge pompadours, but like the products were not made for their hair. They got it. It just was like the entire bus was full of Aquanet fumes, right? Because it was really hard for their hair to get hold. And they were trying to do this on the bus without a hair. Like, anyway, the point being that very often, like, the hair products are not made for your hair, right? And, you know, it's just like, I guess we wouldn't be super tasters if we didn't taste. Yeah, right? We have to do that. We have tested and tasted too much, Patrick Kavanaugh, Advent. How did you know I was the inspector? Make her feel smart.
My disciples come to and from the Grand Colonial, bringing supplies and information. Knowing what happens at the hotel affects my livelihood, after all. With that said, I'd love to involve you in one of my productivity seminars. We should clear you of all those nasty, nasty humors hampering your potential.
You know, I've been, Oh, what do I say? I could humor her to try to get more information out of her. DSB says, my hair's the kind of straight that clips will fall out over during the course of a couple hours, so I feel their pain. Yeah. Aquanet Pompadour would make a good band name. Oh, it would. Okay, Aquanet Pompadour has got to be like a 1980s ska cover band. Not 90s ska punk, but like 80s second wave ska band. So like the Specials, right? This is how I'm feeling. Do I lead her on or do I confront her? Lead her on because she might have murdered somebody. You know, I've been feeling like my potential's hampered lately. What do you offer?
We offer a wide variety of seminars for all your corporate needs. Employees not working hard enough? Employees dying too often? It's most likely your managerial humors. And of course, seminars for balancing the energies of your business offices. Interior decorating is much more important for success than many would believe. If any of this sounds at all interesting to you, might I interest you in the first 82 words of our most popular seminar's introduction? Free of charge.
Free? Sure, I'll hear it.
Byzantines live lives fraught with competition, and that competition can be immensely stressful. You must, first of all, find a way to balance your thinking. Think not of bits lost, but of those you have yet to gain. After all, peace leads to productivity, and productivity leads to profit. Though thought alone won't balance you. We have a strict regimen to promote humor clearing. Session attendees stand on burning coals, sit for hours in our productivity smokehouse, and of course, fast throughout.
Water. So in order to be productive, I need to suffer?
Precisely. The barriers within yourself will break down as your skin sweats and blisters, giving the evil humors the proper space to escape. It's my patented method.
Uh-huh. You've got some interesting herbs in there.
I'm pleased that you noticed. Excellent eye, brother. The compound they're treated with is my own invention, designed to unlock an individual's true productive potential when burned. I can't say any more. Trade secrets, you know.
They seem toxic, actually. Like Britney Spears said, you know, toxic enough to potentially kill someone.
None of my clients have ever complained, so I'm sure they're perfectly safe. Is there anything else?
I'm going to ask you some questions about Halcyon Helen. Please answer truthfully.
Oh? I'm surprised. I wouldn't think the two of us would have much to discuss about her. We may have had some terse interactions before her death, which I most certainly regret. But beyond those, well, never mind. What would you care to know?
Did you contact Helen after you left the Grand Colonial?
I did not. She had no interest in my seminars, and I had no interest in attempting to convert a stubborn actress. Why would I have had any cause to engage with her further?
Sure you didn't send any messages saying to the contrary?
Your tone of voice seems to suggest that you have information already, which also suggests you've read my terminal.
Perhaps.
Whatever the case, I didn't care to mention Helen's change in decision because she never showed up. I don't see how it matters.
You said that you had no further interaction with Helen before her death, right?
Yes, that's correct. She made it clear that my seminars were of no interest to her.
Really? So no messages from her or anything like that?
Your tone of voice seems
Yes,
to suggest that
I
you
know.
have information already, which also suggests you've read my terminal. Whatever the case, I didn't care to mention Helen's change in decision because she never showed up. I don't see how it matters.
Valtiel says, I'd never listened to the specials before. I just checked them out. That was lovely. Yeah, they're great, right? It's really interesting what that second wave of ska was doing. Anyway, I was just watching a video where, Ali Spagnola, she did a cover of Anti-Hero, the Taylor Swift song, as if it were a 90s ska punk. And she was describing ska, and I just kept thinking, this is ska punk. This is 90s ska punk. This is third wave. This is third wave. Because the description she was making very much did describe third wave ska, but ska's from the 1950s. And it just, as a music historian, it made me a little sad that the fact that ska's from Jamaica from the 1950s did not really come up in that conversation. It was all about like Gwen Stefani and like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. And I was like, oh, okay. The Scatolites? Okay, well, okay. And I just was like, I need some music history up in here. That's all. So I teach the history of African American music, and there was a time when I had a whole lesson on Caribbean music. It was a lecture. The only problem was that I had to cut it because I couldn't do justice to the breadth and width and depth of Caribbean music in one lecture. So I cut it, which is still tricky because I think I can. It's really hard. It's really hard. That was what many consider a pinnacle of ska. Yeah, but it just makes me sad when people. It would be like if people are like, oh man, I love Star Wars movies. Star Wars movies are so great. They're the best movies ever. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars and Star Wars movies. Let me tell you about the very first Star Wars movie. It was called Last Jedi. What was that first one? Last Jedi? Rise of the Force Awakens? The Force Awakens? And what's really cool about Star Wars is that it's all about, and they just like, I was like, but there were things before that. I'm not dissing the new trilogy. I'm just saying that is not the beginning of Star Wars. That's all. Force Awakens. Thank you. Force Awakens. Right? Like, it's just frustrating when, and again, I'm not judging one thing as being better than the other. It's just
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-ba-bow. Thank you. You remember me right? You remember me right. Welcome in. I'm just thinking how I would name game your name, because your name is pretty long, but I don't feel like it's particularly awkward. Would I be able to name game your name? It was redubbed A New Hope later. It was just Star Wars initially. Yep. Oh, add a B, then I say the name. And banana fan. Okay. You remember me right. You remember me right. Remember me right. Bo, boo, remember me right. Banana fan, fo, foo, remember me right. Fee, fi, mo, moo, me, remember me right. You remember me right? Yeah. It's not easy. And the reason why it's not easy is because the rhythm of remember me is a little bit tricky. You remember me right. You remember me right is a bit of a tricky rhythm to name game, but I could do it. I could do it. You know, someone said they saw you dragging a human-shaped lump into your yurt.
Who said that?
I don't know.
I'll be sure to give them a special seminar on not needlessly implicating the person who puts food on their table. It was a bundle of clothing, brother. Even productivity geniuses need to do laundry from time to time.
Cool. But the quicker I get the truth, the faster I can leave you alone, you know?
Yes. I suppose the more quickly we get off this subject, the better. I had a visitor, yes. But as it turned out, some of my productivity techniques were too much for them. I had to drag them out by hand.
And who was this?
Peers came and collected them shortly thereafter. I'm sure whichever attendee it was is perfectly safe now.
I'm sure they're dead. You know, you have not been the most helpful person, and I need to eat more food because I'm addicted to food. But can I just get... Oh, it's not a bad outfit you got going on. It's got like a little bit of cult leader going on, but it's also got a little bit of business styling in it. Feels, you know, it's not a bad outfit.
Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend my
Yeah,
desire to aid.
I got nothing for you. But I do feel like... Oh, sorry, wrong button, everybody. Press the wrong button. But, The Dissident Queen, Chapter 1. It's also got a bit of, oh my. It does. The Dissident Queen, Chapter 1. Halcyon Helen battles a lingering foe in a seedy bar. Halcyon Helen and Typhon Tim spoke in quiet tones about their next course of action, their voices soft beneath the din of the bar. The duo had just finished the last of the paperwork on Helen's latest job. Filing precise reports always raised her spirits. The trail has led us here, and I suspect it will lead us no further. Soon, we will find the source of the dissident's monsters, said Helen, a characteristic grin on her face. Let's hope your hunch is correct, Tim murmured, for I suspect their agents will not be far behind us. As if brought on by Tim's supposition, a frightful voice suddenly thundered throughout the room. Near the door loomed a giant and blood-stained man, looking for all his worth like he had fought his way through a mantiqueen's den. It was Maximilian Mercer, well-feared dissident stooge, and he held 2 Spacer's Choice light pistols in his greasy hands. What will happen? Typhon 10 will die. That's just in case you wanted to know, that's what's going to happen. Because they all die. Just for the record. You know what I wonder? I wonder if I might be able to... Oh. I'm just...
I can feel my inner negativity.
Hands off!
Out of me.
I didn't do anything. I'm just walking. I might
What
have
do you
sold...
think you're doing?
Nothing. Oh, I was just... nothing at all.
I apologize. There must have been smoke in my eyes.
Yep. I just robbed you, though, is what happened. It was pretty awesome. I robbed you of 500 bits that I needed and you didn't need, because also, you're a criminal, and you lie to people all the time. I don't like it. You also, like, are kind of culty. So I feel like stealing that 500 bits is just what I need. Only one thing can save us now, Papa Belly Punch. Yes, Mercer's in this. Mercer's everywhere. Valdiel says, I listened to an episode of the Gunsmoke radio drama last night. Oh, and I severely wanted the announcer at the beginning to have a megaphone like that, sound to it like that. I want to make a... Yoink. My cat is really looking for attention, so I might be distracted for a bit. That is fair. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to do a RPG on podcast form that's short, like, you know, like an hour. And I want it to be radio drama style. So I just need to do that. I just don't have the time at the moment. But so I mean, I will. I just don't have the time. But that's what I want to do. Investigate the complex with the hotel in the orchards. Find Betty. The productivity queen. Track down. I did track her down. So I have to find this body. I feel like I'm probably not going to be able to get any more information from her until I find this body, so I should probably do that. Got to find Birdie. I've got to speak to Spencer. Okay, I think that what I have to do is head out and find this body. I think that is my... I think that's what I have to do. I think it's body... Oops. I think it's body snatching time. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna, you know, that's what we're gonna do. DSB, you have to be a responsible adult. I'm so sorry. So I'm gonna have to hop off. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna eat all the sketchy things in game, and I will chat with you later, DSB. I'll chat with you later. Because, you know, we've got things. DSB, are you still here? Sorry, DSB, are you still here? Are you still here? Are you still here? If you're still here, I have to tell you something. If you're not here, then I won't tell you. I'll tell you later. But I want to know if you're still here, because if you're here, then I can tell you something that you might find interesting, but everybody else might also find interesting. But I have to, if you're not here, I'll just wait. Okay. I have friends. Shocking, I know. But do you remember how I told you? Okay, yes. I gave a demanding cat. I'm here technically. Okay, so I need to find this. I need to find this body, which I don't think is very far. Ooh.
Discrepancy detected nearby.
Okay, so look, so I know I've told you, right? A semi-recent set of tracks in the dirt stands out from the dead leaves and those made by passing creatures.
Identifying human footprints leading out into the wilderness. It is unusual for productivity disciples to wander more than a few feet from the camp.
Are they Helen's?
Scanning. No. Helen's distinctive shoe size not found. Judging by footprint depressions and shoe size, these prints were either made by the Prophet of Profitability or Adjutant Sophia Akande. Error. Recalibrating. These footprints were made by the Prophet of Profitability.
No. I think they were made by Sophia Akande. I feel like there's like sketchiness going on there. Anyway, so look. You know how I have friends, right? I know people. I have met people in my life before. That's the true thing. And do you remember how I told you that the GM, I told you all, right, that the GM that kept me in the hobby was Janice Ingen, who
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
who wrote, I'm gonna do this so that I can get the story out before you have to go do cat things. Remember how I told you that the GM who kept me into the hobby after playing D&D with a bunch of people who were really, really awful was Janice Ingen, who wrote Beyond the Mountains of Madness. She co-wrote it with her husband, Charles Ingen. I told you all that story, right? Yes, I told you that story. Yes. So, right, she wrote Beyond the Mountains of Madness, which many people consider, it's up there along with like Horror on the Orient Express and The Massive Nyarlathotep as like a really beloved COC adventure campaign. Although I don't think they've actually done a reprint yet. We will see. Anyhow, I told you all this, right? So there was a whole circle of people. I also told you the story about how that particular Call of Cthulhu group started in 1980 and is still running. So it's the longest, I think it's the longest running RPG group that people know about. Anyhow, there's a whole scene. I also told you that particular group was also like 30 people and like 26, like 25, 26 players. And she would run every Saturday and Sunday, except for one day off. She had like one Sunday off, I think, where Chaz would run RuneQuest. And we would all be, it was like 25 people, and we were all grouped up in like groups of like 3 to 5. And we would like schedule our session. We put it on the calendar. So like we could usually play once every 3 weeks is usually what would happen. But every Thursday would be a potluck over at Jan and Chaz's house. And so we would meet all the other players. Like we'd hang out with all the players every Thursday. It's like and there was a name for the club, and I still have the coffee mug for it. The coffee mug was the ASMRB, the Arnie Sacknooses Memorial Revolutionary Brigade was the name of the group. Anyhow, they also like they were a very cool group. Point here being that there's a whole crew of people there, and I know all of them because we used to game out in the 80s, right? DSB, one of them has recently contacted me because he wants my help with like, he has a new RPG out that he's done, and he wants my help with some of the stuff, and I need to actually figure out. That's one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to see if I can run one of his games because he's going to go Kickstarter. He's going to kickstart a new expansion. It's called Tableau Games. Tableau is what it's called. And it is like a card-based storytelling RPG, and they've got they technically have 3 different playsets, but 2 are out, and he's going to be doing Lovecraft Country. That's going to be kickstarted pretty soon. Anyhow, but here's my point. So he and I have been having meetings talking about the things he needs to do. I need to figure out how to translate this into Roll20, but DSB, I probably want to talk to you about Tabletop Simulator as well for cards, but this is not my point. DSB, the point that I want to tell you was, I was chatting with, and actually everybody will find point 1 interesting. DSB will find point 2 interesting, especially. So if it wasn't for Janice, we wouldn't be here. That's true, actually. That's 100% true. So I was chatting with him because we had meetings to go and like talk about game stuff. And he, as it turns out, he actually funded Beyond the Mountains of Madness because Chaosium at the time just didn't have any money. Or they started, but they didn't have enough to finish it, and so he like finished it. So some things you should note about my buddy Chris that I've been having these meetings with. If it wouldn't be for Felicia, I wouldn't be here. If it weren't for Felicia, I wouldn't be here either, right? So it's like both Janice and Felicia, different moments these various people have impacted us. So the thing that everyone will find interesting, he's the one who actually owns RPGNet. I didn't realize that actually RPGNet was his, but yeah, he has been running RPGNet since way back in the day. So that's him. RPGNet is him. And here's the thing, DSB, you'll find interesting. He, for various reasons, also was a part owner of Arkham Horror. And it was part of the weird thing where basically Chaosium owed him because he funded Beyond the Mountains of Madness, but then they couldn't pay him. And so through this sort of thing that Arkham Horror was partly his. That was part of his portfolio. He ended up trading it back to them in exchange for the Lovecraft Country IP, I suppose it was. Which then Jordan Peele created the Lovecraft Country TV show without actually, based on a novel, I think it was. And the novelist didn't actually pay attention to the fact that Lovecraft Country was already an IP that was owned by Chaosium, FFG, et cetera, right? Anyhow, so I know somebody who's one of the early owners of Arkham Horror. And because you're a big Arkham Horror person, I thought that you would find that super interesting. He was no longer, but there you go. So that was like the kind of interesting. Also, it's just weird to be like, oh, this person I've known for so long is like, oh, they're RPGNet. Oh, I didn't realize that. Like, it's weird when you're like buddies with somebody and you don't really pay attention to like some random things. And then it turns out, oh, Trooper was a shiny King Yellow. Oh, Roller, I'm glad you're here because of that, because I really enjoyed running Fate of Cthulhu, and I've got more things I want to do. I would like all the time in the world, which I do not currently have.
Additional tracks belonging to the Prophet of Profitability.
I am a little suspicious of this. You know, Do you know what I'm saying? I'm suspicious of this. I'm very suspicious of this. I feel like there has been some kind of murder.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Detected
Those were the
additional
days.
tracks belonging to the Prophet of Profitability.
Maybe she was dragging Sophia Akande. Maybe that's what happened. Yeah, I need to... You know what? I just want to... Look, here's what it is. I want to win the lottery so I can just play RPGs
Timeline
on stream all the time.
detected nearby.
This is what I want.
Detected additional tracks belonging to the Prophet of Profitability.
Hey, these rocks have got a purple on them, like a purple lichen. Not bad, not bad. That is cool. What is uncool is stuff to be an adult. Okay. Go, go, go. But I thought that you would find that interesting since, you know, Arkham.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
And
Judging by the shape of
talk more about it later.
indentation in the dirt, a person of medium height and build laid here for a number of hours, scanning for other details. Only additional signs of disturbance are a few marks in the dirt.
Corpses don't get up and walk away, and there's no evidence of the body being torn apart.
Agreed. Likely theory. Individual injured was unconscious, not dead, and walked away after awakening.
Could be this was specifically set up to throw off the trail. No, we'll just say strange. Let's keep this in mind. So, I think it was Sophia Akande, so I think we do need to talk to her. All right. So, this is curious. I'm going to check out where we are on the map, because we have not been... What do we have here? Active quest, the Productivity Queen. I think we might need to go and chat with her. Yeah. I think we need to chat with her again. But there is also that guy around here that we should probably talk to as well. I don't know if we can get back in the back door. We'll just get back in the back door. It'll be really fast, and then we can confront her and move back. But if we have to go around again, then we will work that out separately. I like the purple too. It makes me feel of purple berries, which, as you all know, are some of the best beverages that there has ever been. This profit, yeah. Oh, let's save. Let's just save, shall we? Let's just save. Let's just save. Just gonna save because I feel like that's probably a mood. It's just a mood. Yeah. Hey, I did a 20-mile bike ride yesterday, which Grab Nihi on the rocks. Yeah. I did a 20-mile bike ride yesterday on my new bike, which is the longest I've done so far. And I was trying to practice this skill that one of the bike people at the shop told me to practice. There are a couple of skills. The last skill was trying to practice pedaling from my glutes, not my quads. But there is this other thing, and I'm going to tell you because when I learn things, I want to share with you because maybe it'll be interesting. Tactical time dilation drains extremely slowly when you're not shooting. Take a few minutes to check out their stuff. Okay. So here's the thing. What I learned. Oh, hey. I'm gonna just bring out a pistol in case things get bad. You know what I mean? Just in case. I think I can chalk up my being here in the foxhole to you and Bill communicating through the SG. Yes, it was the Steve Jackson Games message boards that brought us together, 100%. So, I think... See if she has anything to say.
I hope you have
They
been
got the-
keeping positive and productive. How may I help you balance your humors today?
I'm good. They got the back of her hair. Look, the back of her hair. That is exactly what they did a really good job of getting the back of a person with, like a person who has an afro, what the back of their hair looks like. They just did a very good job with this. Much kudos to them. I was going to tell you all something, and I think I lost it.
Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend my desire to aid you, brother. How might I assist?
Yeah, I followed your trail to where you dumped something in the wilderness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you find there? What did I dump?
For a prophet, you've certainly made some bad decisions. Fess up.
Clever work, Inspector. It seems even I can't slide my way out of the trap you've so intricately weaved. I admit it. I killed Helen. By mistake.
You didn't.
Helen changed her mind and wanted
fine.
to attend one of my sessions. I, knowing the importance of the seminar, desired to truly galvanize her, though not to stop her heart. So when it came time, I chose to double Helen's dosage of productivity-enhancing herbs. I left her to meditate, and when I returned, she was dead.
She's not
After
dead.
that, I entered a less than coherent state.
Mm-hmm.
One of my disciples, it seems, witnessed me as I dragged Helen's body out into the wilderness.
Did you shoot the body at any time?
Laws, no. I hate guns. If I ever wanted to kill someone on purpose, I would have used a blunt weapon. Nothing quite like clubbing someone over the head.
Wow. By the way, I want to go back to hair for a moment. As an example of the kind of detail that this game has done really well, look at her hair, right? So you have got this kind of messy hair, and this is again something that most games do not do well, right? This is another kind of hairstyle that games often just don't do very well at all. And this game has got this hair down. Like, this is really good hair. Like, I just am super impressed with this hair, right? Like, it's really good. You know what? You're sure Helen was dead?
I'm no medical professional, but that certainly seemed the case. Usually my customers at least writhe or mumble after a session. My productivity-enhancing herbs typically do induce sluggishness, but I suppose they must have been enough to do her in if her constitution was truly that weak.
Actually, I don't think you killed anybody. Certainly not Helen.
What?
Yep.
Is this some kind of joke?
Nope.
You're an inspector. It's your job to arrest me, isn't it?
So the only thing you've done is be completely negligent.
No.
Yep.
You can't trick me. I finally discovered what's happening. You've been paid off. Someone else learned that I killed Helen and is going to use that information to blackmail me. You
no.
think I'm going to let this injustice happen? Ha! Tell the constable that I killed Helen. It's 1,000 times less
Nope.
miserable than whatever my enemies have planned.
Yeah, the constable's dead? No, let's see. Yeah, you're up the wall. I'm not getting the deputy or anyone else to falsely imprison you.
You monster!
Nope, not doing
What am I
it.
supposed to do now? They'll be here soon. And once they arrive, I'll be powerless. Powerless! I just want to go to prison. Is that so wrong?
But, you didn't do it, though. See? The point is, if you go to prison for this crime you didn't commit, then the person who really did do it is gonna get off scot-free, and I cannot have that. Also, I also am hungry, so gonna have to eat food. Like, this bag of tobacco ears. Yeah, you didn't, but you didn't do it. Just see what I'm saying to you?
You're a heartless inspector. How will I ever feel safe again? All I have are dozens of devoted followers and 16 feet of concrete to separate me from my enemies.
Yeah, the thing is, you didn't do it. And I'm an outsider, a rebel. I can't, be paid off. Let's see, there's a guy here that I feel like we should probably just chat with. Should probably find Betty. And also, there are a couple more things to do on this little area that we should do. We're gonna do that. I really just... Yeah, I'm sorry for your weirdness, but I'm gonna just see if she has anything to say to me.
Welcome back. I hope you have been keeping positive and productive.
I remember
How
what
may
I was gonna tell you.
help you balance your humors to...
The skill, the bicycling skill that I wanted to tell you about. So, this is really interesting. I am not 100% there, but I'm working on practicing something. And what the bicycle, this, I was going to tell you the bicycle tip. So this bicycle guy at the shop, these are all like old school bicyclers, they've been around for a long time, said that you should try. So there's an revolutions per minute. It's called your cadence. So there's a thing called cadence, which is not the singing cadence, which I love to do. I'm very good at it, by the way. I used to call them mean cadence in the army. But there's the cadence, which is the how fast you rotate the pedals in a minute. And he has an RPM of around 80, which, by the way, is a little bit too fast for me. But the point is that what he says is what you want to do is be consistent with your RPM, with your cadence. You want to have a consistent cadence the entire time that you are riding. So the point of changing your gears is so that you can keep the same cadence, right? So if your cadence is 75, you want to maintain a 75 rotation at all times, right? So if you are rotating faster, you want to increase your gear so that you then get yourself back to 75. If you are pedaling slower, you want to decrease your gear so that you stay at that same cadence. And this is interesting because this is not what I was doing. What was happening is I was often pedaling, I think what you would say is too slowly, is I think the best way to put it. Okay, we need to go find this guy. We're gonna find this guy and chat with him because that was the last place we left off. And if we find this guy and chat with him, we should be able to, also there's stuff here to loot. We should be able to pick up where we left off in terms of completeness of sort of knowing what's going on in the area. Can you match your cadence to your cadence though? Ooh, it's a good question. So I will say that he's like 80, and that is too much for me. That is too fast. That is not a cadence I can really do. So right now I'm kind of doing 70, which is okay. But, and this is really interesting, I would often have like a much slower cadence, right? I would like turn up the, I'd go to a harder gear, and then I'd go to a harder gear, and then I would shoot. Oh, sorry. I'd go to harder gear, and then I would pedal harder, right? But I would have a slower cadence. Now, I'm thinking that this is cool. Like, that's fine. But he says you don't really want to be in your hardest gear because it wears your chain more. So if you can get to yourself to have a good cadence on a slightly easier gear, that's actually better in the end. And this was a lot of things that I did not know. Which, let's time dilate here. Armor, health, attacks quickly and bleeds enemies with lunge attack, absorbs energy while blocking, and can release it in okay. Has an unidentified rash. Terrible. Let me... Oops. People should use their abilities. Do you have abilities? If you do, you should use them. Oh, hi. Oops. I was not prepared for that. That was a surprise. Oh. So, there you go. Apparently, it is better for you to prioritize having a consistent cadence in your riding, and you should be changing your gearing with an eye on consistency in your cadence. And he says 60 is too slow. At the moment, I'm trying to be like, I'd like to get up to 80 as an average cadence. I'm currently like at 70, 75. So that's going to be one of the things I'll be working on is getting myself so that I can have an average cadence of, I would try to build up to 80 basically. Also this way. I always focus my force. Do you have to count that manually, or is there a better way to do it, says Valtiel. Yes, there is. If I had to stick with 60 to 75 RPM, I would be stuck in the middle all the time. Let's see. I'd say probably 330. I'm streaming till 330. Well, what you can do is, there's a manual way to do it, which is to ride and get yourself a pace that feels very comfortable for you, and then count how many revolutions you have for 15 seconds. And then multiply that by 4, and that'll give you your cadence, and then just test yourself regularly to get a sense of like what your comfort level, like what you tend to fall in, and you can see if maybe it's too low or it's too high, if it's a thing that you need to work on increasing your cadence, or if you're pushing yourself too hard. All right. Once ate a hat. This one once ate a hat. So let's see if we can get our friends doing murder things, like just murdering. Now I picked up a, oh my gosh, okay. I picked up a cadence meter, so oh, my friends were so very. I'm also on fire, everyone. In case anybody cares, I am no longer on fire. So I picked up a cadence meter, and the cadence meter is like a little meter that goes on the crankshaft of your pedals, and so it'll just do it for you. So I no longer have to count. I can just look at the little meter. So I've got a cadence meter that is how I'm doing it right now. But you can also just manually count, and you want to sort of find that pace that's very comfortable for you, and then you can calculate what that is, and so you can see where you're at. By the way, we did a very good job with those. I mean, we didn't do bad. Also, I feel like I probably should have stood up there. I also feel like I'm probably injured, but it's fine. If I had a 60 to 75 RPM, I would be stuck in the middle with you. As long as I'm exerting a little more force, why should RPM control me? Well, I mean, you do you, but I think it's about consistency, and it's about smoothness. It's about being able to, and of course there are times when you want to do sprints, right? Like you want to do intervals at times, so that I think it'd be like running, right? That when you're running, sometimes you want to do wind sprints, right? And sometimes, but when you want to go long distances, if you can sort of get yourself into a good, consistent pace, right? Then you know your pace, and you can, like a pace that you can stay at for like a long distance, and then do sprints to increase. But I believe that's the filling my legs at 75 versus gradual push at 40. So the gradual push at 40, I think, is going to wear your chain more, basically, is what it is, because you're probably going to be in a lower gear, which is going to have fewer teeth, which means your chain has more tension on it. So there's more tension on your chain, which is going to wear it more. So, you know, it's I think that's what that's about, really.
Excellent to see you again, my friend. Hope you've been keeping your head high.
Yes, I think I found everything.
What are these? Research data pads? Not quite what I expected. Let's see what they say. Parasites, caves, thought control. He did what now?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like any of this is in violation, but it is disturbing. And disturbing a surprised auditor is as foul as failing to file proper paperwork.
Okay.
Those shall pay dividends for my psychological damage.
Good.
Here's your reward, my friend.
Are you going to do something
Your
about this?
Contributions to the field
Like-
of surprise auditing shall not go forgotten.
Are you going to report this at all? Like, to anyone?
Appreciation for your assistance, my friend.
No?
Your travels through the ether be free of radiation.
Is anybody, like, they're clearly doing bad things. Equipment is replaceable. We are not. This is true. Let me just repair all the equipped things. Yes. I think also it's probably slightly better for your knees to be at a slightly higher RPM. Now, I will note, by the way, that 80 was too fast for me. I was like, I don't have the... It's also a measure of your aerobic endurance. 80 is too fast. That's too high of an RPM for me at this moment. My aerobics are clearly not there yet. I do not have the aerobic endurance to be consistently pedaling at that rate. So I'm down to about 70, and I can do 70 pretty easily. Well, I can do it. So I think what's interesting is that the difference is that before I'd be pedaling at a pretty good gear. I'm getting, let's say, 70, and I get to a hill, and I can still pedal up the hill in the same gear, but I'm going to slow down my RPM a lot. So rather than being like going 70, I'll be going like 40 up the hill. And he says it's actually better for you, your pacing, and the bike if rather than keeping in the same gear and just slowing down your RPM to go up the hill, you decrease your gear so that you keep the same RPM, so that you're still going at that same easy cadence. So basically what would happen is, like, I would not downshift, is what I'm trying to tell you. I would go up a hill and I wouldn't downshift. I would just power through the hill at the same gear. And he would say that's not the best thing to do. You should... But I could do it, right? It's not like I couldn't do it. I could. I was completely capable of going up the hill in the same gear. And he just says that it's actually better for you to not do that. So there is a... Where am I? Okay. So there is a milk mech. We're going to make our way... So we came around... We're going clockwise, and we started in here. We've gone all the way around this way. We are here. I want us to finish going around this little island thing, make our way back there, and maybe we just cut through the middle to make sure we've hit everything. But that is my goal, so we can just sort of walk together. I should save. I'm gonna save. Uphill's a different story. You exert more force than necessary at top gear. Yeah. And so to keep your... Basically, it's about keeping your force and effort about even. So if you can keep your cadence about even, then you keep your force and effort about even, right? So, yeah. So, and that's the thing. Like, if you're going... If you've got a cadence that works for you, and maybe that cadence is 40, maybe it's 50, whatever, you have to, like, the cadence that works for you is going to be based on you, right? So if you find a cadence that works for you, trying to sort of think about maintaining that cadence even when you go uphill is apparently better for you, better for the bike, better all around, I guess. So that was what I practiced doing. And it was interesting. The Jedi might disagree. A little force is good, a lot of force is bad. Yeah, you know, the Jedi have a lot of ideas, and I'm not certain the Jedi are actually very good at what they do, because their Jedi just keep falling to the dark side, and I feel like they need to think about... What is that sound? I feel like they need to think about their choices, is what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I feel like. I feel like they need to think about their choices. What is that sound? Where are we? Well, okay. We're going to... we're gonna shoot some Mantisaur drones. Is what we're gonna do with our sniper rifle. And this Mantisaur drone, direct control can result in severe fines or death. Oh, all right. Well. Here, use your powers, everybody. Use your powers. Everybody use your powers. Just use them. Use them. Oh, hi. Get away from me. Oh my gosh, get away from me. Everybody, get away from me. Do you have powers left? No? Okay. Whew. Hey, we did it. We got them, and we did not die, and I feel refreshed. Whew. Whew. Okay. I should also stand up. You know what? I really feel like I need to stand up when combat starts, and I feel like I crouch to get a good sniper shot in, and then combat starts and I don't stand up. Those are my feelings, and I feel like that's probably not optimal. I feel like once combat starts, I should just stand up. Just remind me to stand up next time. Yes. The Jedi might disagree. The Jedi are not great. Look, they're like, don't have feelings. And you're like, I do not think that Anakin would have turned to the dark side if maybe they weren't so weird to him. And if maybe they didn't leave his mom in slavery. And if maybe when he's like, I'm having these terrible prophetic dreams about my mom while she's in slavery because you took me out of slavery and just left her there, and I'm having these weird dreams, and like maybe you know, it seems bad, and maybe, you know, they could I need to increase my lock picking right now. Maybe they could have, you know, done something about that. Those are my feelings. So my lock picking is under stealth, and it is currently down because I've got this food addiction result. So I think I just need to eat food and I should be fine. This is my thought on that. So let me eat food. Let me find a food maybe that can help me with. I don't think there's food that helps you with stealth. So body. I actually just need to eat actual food, I think. What is this? This is natural health regeneration. We'll just eat that. And mind attributes. Do mind attributes help with lockpicking? Do we know? Let's see. Stealth. Mind. Okay, it does. Mind does help with lockpicking. Okay, so if I need to in the future, I have some beverages that I think
You make it look so easy.
will help. Okay. Great. We're going to loot things and pick up Exploration Authority suit. What do you think that does? I don't know. I should check it out though, in case it's cool. And I just want to read chat right now. Look, this is really where I'm at. Exploration, this suit, what does it do? It's medium, it gives you bonuses to tech skills. It's got some plus armor, electrocharged surface, self-patching. This is 69. This is 94. Well, it looks cool, but I don't know. I don't know, everybody. Skeptical. I'm going to read chat now because chat is too exciting for me. Can I go through this? Is this a thing I can do? Can I like climb up on this and make my way through this little hole? If I lean? Nope. I'm gonna read chat. Chat's more exciting to me. I like the attention to detail shown with the floor here. I know, right? This game, there must be procedural generation. There must be, but they have really, really. So we're not going to go this way because that way will kill us. So we're not going to do that. Even though I might be tempted. But it's fine. We'll just go around. It's okay. To be fair, the Jedi had a pretty good run for a couple thousand years, but all the interesting bits they tell the stories about is when things went wrong. I suppose, I mean, I was playing Knights of the Old Republic, which seemed to be in the past, and they seemed to have some problems then too. But Skexy, you are correct. You only tell stories about the interesting bits, which can warp one's perceptions, right? Of, I need to go this way. Which can indeed warps one's perceptions of how they work. I just feel like taking kids when they're very, very small and telling them not to have feelings is maybe not the best. Just maybe. I don't know. Gray Jedi all the way. Today's choice. Bug Burger. Ooh, stretch. Oh, okay, hold on. A stretch, hold on. Wait. If we're gonna have a stretch, let me go here. Roller, I'm gonna stretch. Ooh! The Jedi set up their own destruction, really. Versus I might be able to eat. I'm not yet addicted. And your medical. Yes, I want to increase medical. Right? Yes, I want to increase medical. I haven't leveled up yet. At least I don't think so. When I do, medical. Just tell me, just don't let me forget. I really hope the new Ahsoka series dives into concepts like that. I hope so too, actually. That'd be very cool. Might also be time to pull out the analyzer again. Usually they tell you if you have to, like a little pop-up comes up. Part of the issue with Anakin is that he was confiding in Padme and Palpatine about a lot of these things rather than with the Jedi. Well, I mean, he did, there are two things, right? One, he did tell them about the dreams with his mom, and they're like, you should not have attachments, which... Again, I think is maybe not the best approach, but also they didn't trust him, right? They kind of held him at a distance, and that enabled Palpatine to manipulate him. Do you know what I'm saying? Which I think is a collection of unfortunate situations. Can I go this way? I feel like the answer is no, because I came from that way. So I think we have to go through here. No, I don't want to go into the holy caves. Let's go around this way. Right, there's a lot of not necessarily trusting him because he was old. And I think that opened up some paranoia and some space to be taken advantage of by Palpatine. Like, there was a lot going on there. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a lot that was involved in that terrible situation. Like, there's a lot there. Candy Canyons. The Jedi were wrong. Holy cannoli. Ooh, I'd like some cannoli. So I think that because, you know, when Qui-Gon brought him in, he was brought in by Qui-Gon, who was a little bit of an outsider anyway. And I feel like the structure was not feeling him. And I think that led to... Yeah. There were some poor choices made. Let Qui-Gons be bygones. Yes, I think there were some poor choices made, by the way, these are fake rocks. I just want to note that these are fake rocks we're looking at, and just thought I'd share the fake rocks with you. Very picturesque. Also 100% fake rocks. I feel like this wilderness reserve is Westworld. I have not watched the new Westworld. I only watched the movie with Yul Brynner. I don't know oh, hey, there are monsters here, real quick. There's a Raptidon Mauler. I need to do this. And I need to do this. And Raptidons Direct contact can result in... Okay, nope, we're going to just do that. I'm going to get out. And I'm going to stand up. I'm going to go back in here. This has a lot of health. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good, right? Yes. More or less. Jedi throw rocks. A SWTOR player. Could this be the house? Oh. Could be. Controller battery seems low. Is it? Oh. Hold on. Hold on. I can... Oop. If it is low, I can fix it. That is probably the situation. It probably wasn't the drugs that I took. It's probably my controller. Hold on. I'll plug it in. To my... Oh, I missed the alert. I think... Artie, I missed the alert probably because I was in the middle of a panic because there were Raptidons trying to kill me, and I got distracted. So thank you. I have plugged in. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Lightning is cooler than rocks, which is why I played the Sith rather than Jedi. So that was by the way, that was my new, what's the word? Insight. Oh, by the way, to finish the bike thing, so I'm working on downshifting when I go up hills so that I can try to keep a more consistent cadence, but also not like radically increase my effort when I'm going up hills so that I can ride longer, because I want to, my goal is to ride a full 100 miles in one route. I want to do a metric century again, right? To do another 100 kilometers, which I feel like I should be able to do pretty easily. Well, that not easily, but I should be able to build up to that. But I would like to do the big 100-mile one, and I feel like being consistent in my cadence, so being consistent in the force that I use, will help me get that endurance so that I can actually do 100 miles. That is my goal. Also, I'm going to take this key card. Take. Great. And then examine. I will also search this. The last words of Howard A. Kinsella. I feel like I just learned something about Artie. Maybe. Roller's like, I'm always about the Boba Fett jetpacks. Kron says, I feel like the Sith classes were designed first in SWTOR and they just passed on bullshit light side animations for the light versions. Artie likes lightning. So looking at how the original D&D box described alignment, of which there was law, chaos, and neutrality, it really felt to me as if the whole function of alignment, and they had basically no definitions of what these things meant at all. It really felt to me, this was my insight, it felt to me like Alliance versus Horde. It felt to me like a war game thing where they're like, we want to have like, be able to define two sides for your war game. And one will be the law side, one will be the chaos side, especially since they really do not speak well of chaos or neutrality, really. They're like, nobody trusts them, nobody likes them. So it really feels like they're just setting up two sides for a war game, is what it felt like, the way that alignment was presented in the very, very first D&D books. It didn't feel really like a role-playing thing, because there was no discussion of role-playing and alignment at all in the original D&D box, like in any way, really. And then when they started talking about role-playing a little bit, it was mostly in the context of, if they don't follow this not defined, well-defined thing, you should change their alignment and take away experience points. But it really felt like it was more, alignment originally did not, looking at it, does not feel to me like it was there for RP. It was there to like define sides and conflicts, and also to limit certain weapons and give a thing that you could use to punish players with. It just didn't feel like it has become something, it became something very different. the whole law of chaos thing was stolen from some author, Brian Sanderson. Maybe, yeah, I think so, right? I think so. Yes, yeah. So I feel like we end up it ends up morphing into this whole concept about like philosophy and behavior and whether or not like what kind of person you are. And like good and evil weren't even in there. It was just law, chaos, and neutrality for a while. And I just think that it turned into this larger thing that it just never was in the beginning, which doesn't mean it can't change. Of course it can change. But I think what ends up happening is that two different concepts or multiple different concepts are being bolted onto each other, right? I feel like this sort of like RPG technical thing or like war game technical thing is being bolted onto like deep character work when there's just not a lot of deep character work in original D&D. So I think that the reason why alignment is always so contentious is because it represents kind of different things over time that are not always coming from the same epistemological space, right? Like it's a reason for being, right? Yeah, they effectively cast law as good, neutral as well, they're terrible but not actually evil, and chaos is essentially evil. But the thing is, the way they define neutral is how they define evil later. Like if you go to like 3.5, right, they define evil as being selfish, which is how they define, and like maybe lying or betraying, which is how they define neutral in original D&D. So there's, and they define chaos as basically completely random. And they have moved away from that, right? Then neutral becomes the balance. But then neutral later becomes I don't care. Like it's really interesting because there's a moment where neutral, especially I think with druids, right? Neutral becomes you must uphold the balance between law and chaos, not letting one thing become too far than the other. And then later neutral's like most people are just neutral and it means you just don't really have really strong feelings one or the other. So like the ways in which I feel like you can really see the difference in how alignment is conceived of with neutral and how neutral is defined differently over time. Like especially since in the beginning, neutral didn't even, there was no lawful neutral or chaotic neutral, there was just neutral. So that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I think that, oh, so, do my works are fatal I, as a Byzantine must face my death with the same dignity with which I lived my life. I hereby enclose the events leading to my demise. A tragic turn of fate separated me from my guides. The duo fled as our party encountered a single raptidon. The cowards! I, however, drew my rifle and felled the beast, but not before it sank its teeth into my flesh. I imagine I must have been the finest thing it had ever tasted in this wretched place. Perhaps my guides will find me before I pass, though I doubt those simpletons could find their way out of a cardboard box. I believe their names were Larry and Bell, or something similarly mundane. To whoever finds this, please carry out my final wish. Pass on my rating of 1 out of 5 stars to the Grand Colonial. Guides were very unhelpful. Sincerely, Howard A. Kinsella. Wow, Howard. Kind of, well, sucks to be you, I suppose. Gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue easing on down the road with these super fake rocks, everyone. Super fake rocks. But, it's okay. It's okay. We're continuing on our route. Here we go. Where is this going to lead us? Oh, wow. There's a big, would you call this a snake slug? Or is it a snake that ate someone? I don't know. It's not messing with me. I don't need to mess with it. I feel like we're fine. We're fine. Oh, cool, little birds. The game has very good graphics. Just for the record. Also, Jezza needs to eat again. Because apparently Jezza needs to eat all the time. That's about. Oh, let me back up. Let me just back up. I'm gonna back up a little bit so that I can eat food because we're in that moment. Let's see. Let's have what is this? Borstwurst? Let's eat some Borstwurst. And what is this going to give me? This is going to give me, what do I have up here? This is natural health regeneration. This is my leader thing. That's great. I want medical. All right, everybody, we're going to go and get into a fight. But I'm going to read chat first as I sneak. By the way, how are my... Just want to make sure that I'm reloaded on everything. Great. Okay. Larry and Curly. I will do whatever I want. Lawful awful. I wonder if lawful neutral and counter neutral were created so they had a nice 9-score grid. Artie, I suspect they were. Just like a Byzantine. Bet Ellie would have had a comment. I bet she would have, but she didn't tell me anything. Shoot it to be sure. Okay, so there's a Raptidon Stalker. We're going to shoot it. I'm going to see what it has to say. Analysis. Spits acid puddles. Has acquired a taste for borscht. Oh. Nice. I mean... And let me switch weapons real quick. And let me get out of my time dilation. And let me stand up. People, use your abilities. Somebody use your abilities? Somebody. Alas, poor Grimlock, I knew you well.
To shreds, you say?
You know, whenever I don't have Ella and Yoka with me, I wish I had Ella and Yoka with me. I sometimes want to have my tossball flare friend, who's like my space communist. I like him a lot, from Groundbreaker. He's my pal as well. But what is that sound? But I just like these two so much. I should definitely bring out more people sometimes, I guess. I mean, you know, I mean, it's fine. Alas, poor Grimlock. I knew him. Yeah, I think, although I feel like fool is not as, going back, I feel like it's not as bad of an insult, because if you're foolish, I feel like that has a slightly less negative connotation than some of the other insults. I mean, it's not like it's the best, but I don't think it's the... I do miss Parvati. So sometimes I do like Parvati and what's his face? Oh, hey, it's a Colossus. We're going to go and attack the Colossus. Never put to fools! I would like this big Raptidon Colossus to turn around. Oh, hey, hold on. Wait a second. We don't have anything to repair, so I think we're good. I was a little worried about that, so I think we're fine there. No, we do. We have to repair some stuff. Hold on. Okay. Repairing things. Great. Okay. Real quick. Here we go. This. I don't think I have a weapon out. No, I do. Okay. Okay, analysis. Okay. Let me stand up. Let me switch weapons. Let me shoot a lot. Go. Anytime. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, everybody use weapons. Also use weapons. These things are coming at me right now. It's a little distressing. Oh, hi. Hi. Oops. Here, get out of my face. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, no, it's still alive. Okay. Sorry about that. It was a little, like, oh. They attacked me. It was very stressful. I just want you to know that it was a little stressful because, you know, I felt very attacked. I don't know why I felt that way, but I just felt really attacked. I'm running out of weapons parts. It would be really great to get a weapon. Hunting rifle hyper. What is this? It has some kind of special thing on it. 466, 365. It's a much higher level. But this is the same weapon, so I feel like I don't need to worry about it. I'm not a snack. Yeah, so by the way, I'm just really excited about my bike. This new bike, it's very cool. It is a hyper hunting rifle. Oh, hello. How are you? Okay, so looking around, let's see where we are on our map, because we're trying to do a 360, right? Okay, we've done a pretty good job. I don't know if we can actually go around the back, but if we can, we should try. So we see everything, because what if there's loot things that I miss? Favorite enemy, hypers. That's fair. I was just thinking about, somebody asked this question, right, about what games do you know that kind of ignore the rules? And I was like, well, that's really tricky, right? Because there are rules light games that don't actually ignore the rules, but they're just rules light. And then there are games that are not rules light, but then people, when they play them, they ignore the rules. We're talking about like on streams. Which one do you mean? And the person's like, oh, because again, people ask these questions, but they've not thought through the question completely. And I was like, okay, so do you mean games, do you want examples of actual plays where they're playing games with rules, but they ignore those rules? Or where or are rules like what do you want? And it turns out they wanted games where there are robust rules, but the players ignore them. That was specifically what they wanted. And I was like, okay. Or either ignore them or I suppose obscure them so that you may not realize. And I said, probably your best bet would be podcasts, because podcasts often edit out all of that stuff, right? So probably a bunch of podcasts. No, basically not really home rule. I don't think they really want home rule. What I think they want is actual plays that really downplay the rules and will like toss them aside if it's not good for the story, whatever that means. Drawful, Arctic phone, right? And I was like, yeah, because those are two different things. If they want tabletop, but the thing is, that's actually, I think, missing the actual point. If you're using the rules, that's not what they want. Like, I think they gave an example of Dungeons and Daddies, I think was the example they gave. I think. So what they want are things like a game where there are rules, but people decide that because it's an actual play, they're not going to basically use them because that won't be exciting, I think. And my thought was like, okay, well, podcasts may either basically, I said, you're going to have to make it. There are also games where they do use the rules, but they don't let you know it because they don't think that audiences want to know those things. And so if that thing is also available, I would say tabletop. So I'd say a lot of podcasts will do this. And a lot of comedy. A lot of things that were like, it's a lot of improv comedy, comedians telling jokes also will do this. Or things that really want to be TV rather than RPG, that'll probably also do it. But probably you're gonna want comedy, right? Comedy, and also edited podcasts. So they want a group playing something like Shadowrun or Exalted and other rules-based systems, but the group is playing Ignore. Yes, right? Which you're going to get a lot of in D&D, actually. There'll be a lot of D&D games that do that, especially comedy-esque ones. But also,
I believe we got a deal with marauders on Eridanos.
Also, a bunch of vampire podcasts also do that.
You want to stay safe? Head back into the hotel.
Okay.
You know, I never imagined Spencer Woolrich would outlive Halcyon Helen.
Sounds like light RPGs might up the... No, but this person is writing a master's thesis, which is why I was like, you need to define your terms. Because right now what you're asking for is not going to be helpful for your master's thesis, says me as a professor, because those are separate ideas, right? Like, there are actual differences between using a rules-light game and using... Like, for example, when I run Good Society, I do not obscure the rules from the audience. The audience knows what the rules of Good Society are. It is, however, a rules-light game, although it has really good crunch. The crunch in Good Society is very, very good. But I don't obscure the rules from the audience, right, when it's Good Society, even though that's a rules-light game. So that's a rules-light game where you're not going to be seeing a lot of, like... They also did a couple of things that made me think they need to really define their question, because they're writing a master's thesis. And they were like, you know, they said, what was it? It was like, I'm looking for examples of games that ignore the rules, actual play that ignore the rules, you know, like Dungeons and Daddies, I think it was, you know, where it's just like all role play and no combat. And I was like, okay, so first off, you can role play in combat. Like, combat and role play are not a binary. So, right? And also, there are games wherein all the roleplay is mechanized and highly rules dependent, and you could do all that roleplay while keeping the rules fairly forward facing. So there are a lot of, like, you're using a lot of terms as binaries, or you're conflating terms that are not necessarily things that should be conflated. So what exactly do you mean, right? And I got the sense that what they meant was live plays that do have rules, but they basically ignore them because for the show. That was the sense of what I got them wanting to do. Yeah, and there are also systems of social combat. Yes, exactly, Artie, right? There are systems. So, like, there was a lot going on there that was like, okay, yeah. That seems like an odd contradiction. Was their thesis? I'm curious now. Well, they didn't actually... The problem is, they didn't actually... This is a person on Reddit. They didn't actually say what their actual thesis was. They were like, hey, I'm writing a thesis about actual plays, so I'm looking for examples of actual plays that do this. And so I was like, okay, let me ask you some follow-up questions that, to be honest, to be transparent between you and I, was meant to help them refine their thesis, because that right there was not particularly refined. Do you know what I mean? I was like, if you do not know the answer to these questions I'm going to ask you, you need to figure them out, because your thesis right now is a little bit too broad and not thoughtful enough when it comes to what the details, right? So I asked them some questions so they could be a little bit more defined. And yeah. Let me see what you all are saying. Oh, I meant like the novels that are written with an RPG system rules in mind, like He Fights with Monsters, for example. Ah, yeah, I see you. Yes, I see you. Every game has at least one rule. That paranoid example, I had a GM claim, I was only supposed to keep you all distracted. Often the system isn't very explicit, but there's clearly something the author is going on to make decisions. Yeah, absolutely. Versus, is the person trying to find actual plays that don't let the rules bog down, interrupt the story? Artie says, that doesn't sound like a really workable thesis. Well, there wasn't even a thesis yet, right? They're trying to gather information, but I don't think that they had a very clear sense of what the parameters were. I don't know much about thesis work or construction. Like, look, to have a thesis, you have to have an argument. They did not present their argument, probably, I suspect, on purpose. I suspect, because here's the thing, as I was watching the way in which that conversation... Oh, thank you. As I was watching how that conversation was playing out, they... It does not seem as if they like actual plays like that. But I don't think they wanted us to know that, because then they thought that maybe people wouldn't give them examples, right? So it seems like they're looking for examples of something that they themselves do not particularly like. So I really do have questions about what exactly their argument is going to be. But also I do not think, which also I think is partly why they really need to define their terms better, because if they do not like this style of actual play, and they're writing a thesis that does engage with this, they really do need to understand the difference between those things, right? There are actual plays where they use all of the rules, right? They are very, very, oh, look at that. They use all the rules. They do not ignore any rules. They just don't let the audience know that they're using them, right? Like, especially podcasts who will edit out some of that stuff. So they use them all, but the audience may not know it because they edit that out, which is different than a game that theoretically has rules, but doesn't use them whenever it is inconvenient for them, which is different again than a system that is just a rules light system, right? So like those are three very different scenarios that are coming from very different spaces. And I just would like the person writing their thesis to think about which of those things they are doing, because they're not the same. And they mean different things, and they're organized differently. They're very different kinds of actual plays, you know? And yeah. And I just felt that they kind of needed to do some work on that. Hey, Gritty, how are you? I am playing the game, theoretically. Yeah. Theoretically playing, because I try to, right? I try to get the chat in. Speaking of thesis, Babageneer wrote an awesome thesis on ideas around the origins of an eye. Oh, that sounds interesting. Makes me think of The Party, where the initial character is doing a thesis, and they're trying to argue that essentially the film industry shouldn't exist. Yeah. Book snob, and I love books. So there's going to be like a... There, it looks like. This way we're going to have to go. Artificial, yeah, I have a tiny puppy trying to chew his toys on me, so I might vanish to entertain the tiny terror. If you vanish to entertain a puppy, I'm going to honor that. I just want you to know. Speaking, by the way, if there's a, there's a bot that we have to find that's, I think, over there, which I think if we do that, we will finish up the entire area, but, and then I'll feel very, very productive. But I need to sell some stuff because I'm a little bit over encumbered at the moment. And there's a salesperson right here. So just gonna
Welcome back.
sell stuff.
What can I do you for?
Oh no! Gritty, take the shoe away from the dog. Also, what kind of puppy is it? The Party is a really good web series. If anyone hasn't, it is really good. I like it very much. Well, in this case, a theater snob, but yeah, yes. It makes connections between Frankenstein, Babbage, Sherlock Holmes, and Casper. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Hunter supplies. Get your hunter supplies.
So I feel like there are. So I recommended podcasts in general because podcasts often. Oh, I can repair this. Great. I can sell things, all of my junk. Great. If I have new weapons, which I should break down, but if I have any new armor, which I don't, well, I have money and I have a big discount. I have a big discount and I cannot lie. Let me see if there's anything I want to buy. Maybe not. Whiskey. I don't think any of this stuff is going to be high level enough for me to want to buy it, but I might as well just check, right? Yes. I won't finish the game today, but we have gotten much further along. I feel like I've done good things. What is this? Oh, Adrena time. I have enough, I think. Oh, hey. Two-handed melee could be not bad. Could be not bad. I probably shouldn't buy it, but no, I shouldn't buy it. I'm not going to buy it. That's it. I'm not buying it. I didn't buy it. There you go. Didn't buy it. That said, I am going to try to find this bot, which is the last thing we have to do on this reserve, I believe. And if I find it, then I'm good. Then I'm good. I love that the party's been releasing behind the scenes. Oh, I've been watching those behind the scenes videos. They're very good. I have been enjoying them. Let's see. For a second, I thought you meant the band, and I was very confused. Fair. I've ruled out one killer, so that's really good. Hey, boys, how are you? How are you? Fellow corporate peons, I hope we're all staying productive in non-United States. Yes, very productive. Well, semi-productive. So I recommended, boys, we're talking about this person who's writing a thesis where they want to, okay, there's a mega canid.
I can take a hint.
There's a mega canid, everybody. Where they wanted actual plays that basically ignore the rules. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to adjust your criteria to either ignore the rules. I do not want to kill Betty the Milk Mech. Or if they don't ignore the rules, they edit out the rules from the audience. The audience is not aware of them. And so I recommended, let's do this. I recommended like a number of Vampire the Masquerade podcasts, because a lot of them, the one that the Southern Fried Gaming, I think, does that pretty well too. I recommended, excuse me, let me do this. This canid suffers from constipation, by the way, in case you wanted to know. I also recommended, here we go. Oh, hi. I recommended LA by Night. Oh, hi. I recommended LA by Night because LA by Night started just scripting scenes. Are you okay? Is everybody all right? Okay. Cool. I recommended LA by Night because LA by Night just started scripting, started having scripted scenes. But also when they would have guest stars, I remember watching, they had some guest players in to be NPCs, right? To be like, I think they had Luis Carrazzo, and they had a couple of people. And when they had their guests in, the guest didn't have a character sheet and didn't roll. The storyteller would roll everything for them. So I was like, if you're looking for games where they're basically just maybe doing a bit of that, that might be an example. I recommended Kolok as well, because Kolok is really trying to go for a very sort of TV-esque sort of a thing. And I know that Zach would script things we thought would make a better story. At least back when they were still in Seattle, they did. So I try to recommend a bunch of stuff that was I don't know whether or not the Gauntlet would count. But like anything where you get guests who are not at all gamers, like in any way, will often also do this. Hello, friend.
No cacaos detected nearby. Returning to slug maintenance worker.
Great.
No cacaos detected nearby. Returning to slug maintenance worker.
Okay. Have we solved the problem? I hope we have. I'm gonna walk back and see if this will solve the problem. And while I'm walking back, I'm gonna read chat because chat has things to tell me and I'm very excited about it. I just have to get over this. Boom. Okay, now I'm reading. I'm ready. Yeah, a mega canid. It's no good. No good. For a second, I thought you meant heck of a sniper shot. Thank you. I know, the poor constipated canid. Personally, I'm very grateful to LA by Night for setting the precedent of guest players as NPCs. Now, I will say, I don't think they set the precedent. I'm just gonna note, I don't think they set the precedent, but I like that they did it. That said, what is this? Ooh, workbench. We're going to break down some of our weapons because we might be able to get more parts from them if we do, because I'm out of weapons parts. It's quite dire. So just noting it. Just there. Yeah. Yeah. So you ran away from the demon dog and now you're hiding in a room. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, the Mega Canid has Anno. The Mega Canid, I think, is probably on meth. This is just my thoughts on that one. I cannot prove it, but I suspect the Mega Canid was on meth, and that makes it bad. Also, where's my... There we go. Okay. Sorry, I lost my cursor. It's like, where'd the cursor go? I'll get rid of that. It's a 34. Yes. Maybe it's the animals is causing constipation? Maybe. Okay, this board doesn't have a heart, but does it have 3 arrows and a health potion? Yes. I hope. Buddha says, I know a few APs that do good at trimming out rules talk, like Redemption, but it is a curious need, right? And the thing is, I know some, like, Pod by Night, you know, Dot's podcast, they often cut out a lot of rules talk, so I did recommend them, because that is definitely one of the things, like, that's one that does that, so that's, they can get that there. But I was like, I don't think you were, like, I don't know what your agenda is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't really know what their agenda is, and so it's a little bit weird. And also, I just don't think they had been thoughtful enough about that, because there is a difference between, I've got a bunch of guests who are improv comedy actors who do not know how to play the game, and so I'm going to just kind of remove the rules from this situation because they don't actually know what they are. That's a different situation, right? Than a game where all the people know all the rules, but they edit it out so that the audience doesn't hear about it, versus a game that's just rules light, where it doesn't have a lot of crunch in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, that's and none of that has to do with combat at all.
Betty found her way back. Here I was thinking I'd never see her again.
One malfunctioning mechanical as promised. She was trying to melt canids.
Oh, Betty, you big goof. What were you thinking in that little metal noggin of yours? You nearly worried me to death. And ain't you just the most reliable freelancer in the colony?
Thank you.
Let me just take a look at Betty here and we'll talk about payment. Yep, that's right.
Sure.
The parameters for movement and target acquisition are a mess. I'll bring her back to the garage and get her sorted out. Since Betty's back safe and sound, I'll be sure to let my coworkers know that you're a good one.
Thanks.
Here's some money for your effort. Least I can do to show my thanks.
Great. I'm not going to go and threaten her or anything. I'll just say, all right then. Don't let any canids nip you on the way out.
I won't.
You're welcome. Hey, look at that. We completely, I'm pretty sure, completely finished the wildlife preserve. I feel like we have been very, very productive. Let's see. The man who chafed, that's Spencer Woolrich. I need to speak to him. I've got to go to this Rizzo Rangers space. I've got to report back. Let me do this strange disappearance thing, that side quest, because I bet we may not, but at least we can get ourselves headed in that direction, right? So we need to come out here, because we have not yet actually been to this place here or this place here, I don't think. So there's still 2 little islands we haven't been to that we'll have to explore. But now we just need to get our way back to the main area, which we're going to do. Hold on. While we're here, where is this? Oh, this is in one of those little islands that we're going to have to go to. So we are... We're good. We're good. It's nearly 3. I just want to get ourselves off this area and away from the Lorax trees and back onto the main island, so that when we start next time, we will be in a, we'll know where we are. Do you know what I mean? We'll be like we'll be setting ourselves up for success and ADHD. Because I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a walk. There we go. Oh, I heard that as work, bitch, not workbench. That would be very drag queen of you. That's Mm-hmm. Maybe, says Gritty, a workbench worked at a workbench? Maybe. I wonder if but was it Spacer's Choice brand meth? That would be a good question, and one that I would find important to know the answer to. Because Spacer's Choice brand meth is probably the best meth that you could get, is my assumption about Spacer's Choice meth. We're going to walk this long route so I can read. At what point is what you're really looking for is a radio drama? Right, like but I also don't, I would want this master student to do a little bit more work. I wonder if the Outer Worlds equivalent of Gus Fring is. That's a very good question, actually. It does come across as not being genuine. I feel like it is, I feel like it's genuine, but I feel like it's deceptive, right? Like, I feel like they have already decided the answer to their question and are trying, but I think that they don't realize they have. Like, I feel like they've not checked their bias enough, and I feel like they're not open enough, but I think that they think they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that we're in a bit of a, let me back up. Let me eat some food while we're here. I think that they, I think that they think they're being genuine. It's just that I think that they don't know enough to frame questions well. Why are these things? We don't have to fight these things, do we? Oh, we do have to fight those things because they are gaseous and also perhaps dangerous. So, the Terra rays native to Eridanos are bigger and more aggressive than their cousins elsewhere in Halcyon. They seem to have acquired a taste for humans. Just kill it already. Okay. Will do. Gonna just, okay, hold on. Oh gosh, oh hold on. There are more of them. I'm gonna need, maybe like a machine gun. Okay. Hey everybody. They were swarming at me. It kind of stressed me out. Just stressed me out. Just, that's that. Yeah. Puffy trees. It's nearly 3:30. Okay, we're close. We're close. We're close. I always come to this room at the end, or I get distracted with this room. Hey, Grinny, it's fine. I wanted to tell you all something. Yes, I wanted to tell you something that I cannot yet tell you, but I do want to tell. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something that's not. It's not full information. It's bogus information because it's not full. That's fine. I don't know what it's about. What I'm going to do next week. You know, it's about that. Thanks for the purple berry. At least according to anyone working at Spacer's Choice, it's not the best meth. It's Spacer's Choice. They're looking for examples of confirmed reviews, and that is it. Yeah, but I think, and I'm maybe giving them too much credit, I don't think they realize that that's what they're doing. Also, let's take all the stuff. I did not realize there was stuff there that I had not stolen, taken, acquired, liberated. Because I feel like I pretty much liberated everything in here. Because maybe I just didn't get into the... Yeah, I feel like I've definitely been in here. I've definitely been in here and looted it wild. Yeah. Just tells already. Yes. Okay. So, India, patient, but maybe the rain isn't really to blame. So I'll remove the cause, but not the symptoms. That was your just late afternoon Rocky Horror. So here's what it is. Friday. So today is what? Saturday. There's no, I'm telling you what I'm doing this in the coming week. So Sunday, there's no Carousel Court because we're in the break in between. Monday will be Vampire the Masquerade. And that's over on Wandering Games channel at 8:30 p.m. Boyce played a wonderful Lasombra, and I hope we get to see Boyce's character again soon. I hope that my character gets to chat with your character. My character was not able to really get to chat with your character because my character lost a fear frenzy check and was running through the streets murdering people, and so did not really have the time to get to know your character very much. So sad. But I hope that will be rectified later. Would be great if that happened. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. People are not doing well right now. Excuse me for one moment. I just need to take care of this. Oh, there's more of them. It's fine. So that's Monday. Tuesday will be... Oh gosh, will be... Oh gosh. Tuesday's gonna be Motor City Hollow Crown, our Vampire the Masquerade campaign on this channel. Yay. I'm pretty sure we had like 2 players who had some emergencies last time, so that was no good. But I'm pretty sure next time we'll have everybody and we can play, and I'll be very excited because we only have 4 more sessions left, and I am wanting to like jump into there. Then of course Thursday will be not been here? Weird. Thursday will be Disco Elysium, and I will play Disco Elysium this time. It's just that last time I really wanted to chat with you all, and I was like, if I play a roguelike that's me throwing cards down, then I will be able to chat with you all without being too distracted. So I felt good about that. And then the question is, what am I going to do on Friday? That's the big question. Because Friday, we're going to do Foxhole Fridays, we're going to do an RPG, absolutely. But what is it going to be? I haven't had the time to... I started thinking about it, but I haven't had time to really think about it, and there are a couple of different options. It's probably because I know why I couldn't tell you. I'm being a mod for Gen Con this year. Again, like I was doing some remote production, and this year it's only modding. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to do a Friday stream or not, because I didn't know what my schedule was, and my schedule did come in. And so I now know that I can stream an RPG on Friday, but since it is less than a week's time period, I don't know if I can get other folks. I might be able to get Lindy and we can finally do our showdown, or I might do a solo session. I cannot tell you going solo. I had an idea for going solo, which I was spending some time...
with caramel and pea-free nuts in it. It's time for a KYO.
Thanks. I was spending some time checking out a little bit of tech stuff because there's a... So basically, my point is, I'm going to do probably a solo RPG on Friday. We go in solo. May do a showdown with Lindy, but I have to talk to her about it. So that is what's going to be happening on Friday. And I'm also going to be working on what's going to be happening over the break before we come back to the Gamblers. And the thing is, I have some ideas that involve me getting a little bit of free time to do some stuff. And I hope that I will be able to do it, because there's a thing I really, really want to do if I can get it worked out. We will find out. So what's going to happen in the break is still a little bit up in the air because I haven't had time to think about it too much. But now I do. And so it's going to happen. It's going to be something cool. Now, I'm torn because I also want to do more Crash Jones. So I may do some Crash Jones. I may do some other stuff. So look, we're going to see. Oh, killed some people and didn't loot them. What was I thinking? How very strange. Well, okay, everybody, it is 3:32. Yes, so I do not have the Gen Con commitment on Friday because they did not schedule me to work. I mean, I am actually working at Gen Con during the day, but the whole day beforehand. But I think I finished my Gen Con work at 6 p.m., so I can stream. So that's the big news. I will be able to stream, and we're going to go and find out what this says to finish our session.
have gotten into the spectrum in these crates. Listen to this.
Come out! Come out to play!
Law, he's having a grand old time. I'm gonna take him to A2 under the hotel so he can sleep it off. I'll meet you back at the orchard straight after. See you soon. Evan, come on, you slackwit.
Oh. Well, that seems bad, right? That seems bad. Look, I just want to let you know that we have been so productive while also getting lots and lots of chat on. And I just I would just like it if, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that because I did it. Did we look at this? I think we did. Yeah, I think we actually read all of that. Yep. We're good. Look at that. Well, I'm not a pro multitasker. Because humans can't really multitask particularly well, so I'm an adequate multitasker, I guess. Maybe. Ish. I'm gonna take credit because I only barely derailed Trooper. But I still got a lot of good chat in, and that was, because I feel sad when I don't get to do both things. But we have ruled out one suspect. We've got to deal with Spencer Woolrich. I feel like we are on our way to solving this crime and then finishing the game and then playing Rain World. I feel like we're almost there. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so we're gonna head in. That's what I'm doing this week. But I do want to say that because I'm not working Gen Con, I now can sort of think about what I want to do for the next couple of weeks before we start back in mid-September. And I really do want to play Crash Jones because I really loved that. Like, I really enjoyed that. So we might start Crash Jones up again, or we might do something else. But the thing is, there's this thing that I really want to do that is... what do we have here? Huh. I think we can just finish up one more mission right as we're walking out. I'm sad I didn't get to distract you for this session. I know. Isn't there a toss ball? There is a toss ball player around here somewhere, but I don't know if I want to talk to him yet. Oh, you know what? We're going to do that side quest. That's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do right now, just so you know, I'm not going to play. I'm going to move to where the where that quest is, that quest line is, so that when we start, I will not get distracted. I will just head over to where we need to be. And then when we start, we'll just move forward and that'll be it. So I will just say that I'm really torn about just starting a Crash Jones run through because I really enjoyed playing Crash Jones. And look, I'm just gonna I really think I need to do that. No, I'm leaving. Granny, I'm totally going. Just so you know, that's it. I'm totally leaving. I am going. Map. Where am I? Is this the way to get where I'm going? Well, we'll find out, I guess. Here. Let me switch weapons. And also, while I'm here, let me also eat food before I save. Just, be good on top of things. Yep. Sure you are. And the Queen, and wait, you're the Queen of England? Well, Queen Grinny. I'm going to eat food. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so here's the thing. Look, I really want to do another run of Crash Jones because we have this whole adventure set up where we're gonna go and we have to go to the Library of the Dead, I think it is. We've got like a whole thing going up, and I really want to play Crash Jones. But I have other things that I want to do also that would be probably one-shots or two shots, and I want to do those as well. So I am sort of torn about what to do. Maybe we'll do Crash Jones, and then hopefully I can stop early enough to do this other thing. Maybe that's what we'll do. But so just to let you know, this is my struggle right now. I'm struggling because I want to play Crash Jones, and I also want to make this secret project. And there are just a couple of things I want to do. I don't know. We'll find out. How long to the next gambler session? The next gambler session should probably be the week after school starts, because I'm going to Seattle to officiate a wedding, like the first weekend of September. So we'll probably start the gamblers like September 15th. I don't yet have it around then. I have to hammer out the actual date based on my players, what's the best for my players. But around September 15th is when I'm planning to start. So I've got like 6 weeks maybe ish. Oh, Grinny. Okay. Just let me know. I'm getting my officiant's license right now. I've got to go turn in. It's one of the things I have to do. Turn in that paperwork to do that. So just let me know, and then I will officiate your wedding. You let me know. Yes. So you just have August worth of Fridays to fill, since you'll be the first Friday. I think. Yeah. I have got, but it's a little bit tricky, right? So let me hold on. Give me a second. Wait. I need access. Also, please start reshaping. I need access to my calendar. Where's my calendar? That's my calendar. Okay, so. I mean, it's gonna be a long while, but I'll tell you, okay, call me. So, sorry. All right, so next week, Friday the 4th, I can stream. Friday the 11th, I have, so the next 2 weeks after that, I'm doing my volunteer work with the kids from Toronto, but I do not think that I have to actually work with the kids in Toronto at like 7 p.m. on a Friday. So I should have August 4th, 11th, 18th, the 25th. I would be coming back from, I have a bikepacking trip scheduled, which we'll see if I can actually take it. I may have to cancel it if I've got too much stuff to do. Shawl tells us here that weekend, but I should be able to stream on the 25th of August. The 1st of September, I should also be able to stream. That's August 1st. The 1st of August, I should be able to stream. September. The 1st of September, I should be able to stream. That's 5. The Friday after that, I can't because I'm going to the wedding. So I've got basically 5 Fridays, and then I have to take 1 Friday off for the wedding. And then the Friday after that, the 15th, is when I'm hoping to start up the gamblers. It might be the 22nd if the Friday doesn't work for everybody. So I've got definitely 5 Fridays of something other than Traveler to play with. So that's what I'm looking at. Yes. So I should probably go and look to see how many sessions the last Crash Jones was. Actually, I can look right now. I'm going to just look it up because I have that data. That is data that I have. Let's see. Streaming. Admin? No, data. Data. Tracking numbers. Well, friend, I'm going to run away. Well, Greeny, if you're going to leave, then I should leave. Like, why should I even be here if you're not going to be here? So Crash Jones was 6 sessions total, but 1 was character creation, and there were 5 sessions for the adventure itself. Oh, no. Foxhole Friday on September 1st. I have this, so I've got the four Fridays in August and then the September 1st. So I have 5 Fridays. It was the 8th that I can't do. So I've got 5 Fridays in a row starting this Friday, and then I've got the wedding, so 1 Friday off, and then if everybody's back, you know what? So here's the thing. I was gonna stream yesterday and then not this coming Friday, so it'd been like a one shot and then 4. But you know what? I think I should do Crash Jones. That's what I think. I think I should do the next Crash Jones adventure. Yeah. That's what I think I'm going to do, everybody. We worked it out together. I was in a conundrum. And if I can finish quickly enough, if I can finish in 4, that will give me a... I'm ridiculous? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, we've decided we're going to do Crash Jones, the next Crash Jones adventure. That's going to be what we're doing. If we finish it early, then we do something else, but we're going to do that. Everybody, you've heard it here first. Next Friday is Crash Jones, and I think it's the Library of the Dead. I've got to double check. So, everyone, it has been determined. It is now known. We're doing Crash Jones. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone, for helping me decide that, help me determine what we're doing, because now I know. Yeah. So, everybody, it's decided. I don't even have to make new assets. There are a couple things I have to do. There may be a couple minor assets I have to do and a couple of things I have to do here tech-wise, but that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're going to do Crash Jones. Oh, I'm so excited. Hey, we're doing Crash Jones, everybody. Oh, yay. I'll have to go and put that out. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, look, there are some other things I want to do, though. Maybe they might have to happen on a Saturday, maybe. I don't know. Look, I'm going to tell you what I want, what I really, really want, and then I'm going to go. Well, then we're going to rate somebody. But what I want is, I want to do another Knights Black Agents one-on-one. I want to do more Cthulhu Confidential. I have a hack of the zone that I want to make, and then invite the same people that I had for Something Is Wrong Here to do that. And I'd want that to be 2 sessions. So I want to do more Knights Black Agents solo, Cthulhu Confidential, this hack of the zone that I want to do. Those are 3 things I want to do right off the bat, that I know that I want to do. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. I want you to know that I have 2-1. Oh, and Greg Grimjack just introduced me to a brand new sort of solo thing, and I really, really want to try that with him. That's the thing that I want to try to figure out when to do. And I have some other solo RPGs I want to try out. Thousand-Year-Old Vampire, I really want to do that. That's the thing I want to try. And I feel like there's a way for me to do this. I don't know when this is going to happen, but I'm just telling you all so you know what I want. And then you can remind me later. Max is doing Alone Against the Dark at the moment as a possible raid. Oh, Valtiel, thank you. Thank you. That's perfect. Perfect. I am going to, by the way, we're gonna raid Max. Thank you so much. Valtiel, thank you so much. So I picked up 5 Parsecs from Home, which is a war game. It's a solo war game with some RPG elements. And I bought... Hold on, let me show you. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna show you. It's over there, hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna show you, we're gonna raid. So I bought these plastic astronauts right? So you know those little plastic army men? So I bought these little plastic astronauts. They were very cheap, and I can use them for this miniature war game, right? Good old like new school wargaming. You just have to have some miniatures, and I got some space astronauts, which I'm very excited about. And I really feel like, and I got an extension cable for my other webcam, so I could bring it out over here, and I feel like I should be able to do this. I think it'd be kind of fun and cool. Maybe not, but I think it could be very fun and cool. And I could just pull a table out maybe here, set it up. Anyway, so there are a couple things I just would like to do. And I only have 5 weeks. So we're going to do Crash Jones, but, and we're going to be finishing up Vampire. Right, we got 4 more sessions. And then the school year's going to start, and I'm still a Scotland resident, so I don't think I'll have a lot of time to do, like, I won't be able to do 2 long-term campaigns at the same time. But I will be able to, but I'm going to, you know, I'm going to work it out. I will work out where I can schedule in some things where I can, because there are things I want to do. Maybe win the lottery. I don't know. So I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. Y'all have been lovely. We were very productive. I feel like we are just like, I feel like we may finish the DLC for the Outer Worlds before the summer's over. We've got a month. We've got 5 weeks. So maybe we will finish the DLC. I have a thought about that. I'm going to think about it. Yeah. So I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go to adult. And then I've got to get my efficiency license, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you. We are going to raid. Where's my raid? Hello, raid button. Yep. We're going to raid Max. Max is still on, right? Because if Max is on, Max Writer. Where are you, Max Writer? Writer. There you are. Okay. We are going to raid Max Writer, who's so lovely. Max is very cool. And also, Max writes modules for Call of Cthulhu. A whole bunch of them. He's got a whole bunch of really cool modules that he's done. So we're going to go and raid him and give him all sorts of love. And let's enjoy his Alone Against the Dark. And this is our raid command. And I am going to catch you all on the flip side. Thank you, everybody. And let's go raid our buddy. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye.